From Viera, Florida, to the world via the internet, welcome to Brevard County Manatees Baseball. I'm Stephen Smith of SpaceCoastBaseball.com, and I'll be telling you about tonight's game from the first pitch until the final out. Well, when the Manatees finished the first half of this 2010 season in last place in the North Division of the Florida State League, they were 27-42, 13.5 games behind the Dunedin Blue Jays, who they host tonight. I think few of us thought that the Manatees had a reasonable chance to be chasing a postseason title here in the second half, but that's exactly what's happening. The Manatees are in third place with a record of 30-21. They are 3 games out of first place. The team that's in first, the Tampa Yankees, they are 32-17. They are at home tonight hosting the second place team, the Daytona Cubs, who are 31-20, 2 games back. So the Yankees are in first, the Cubs 2 games back, and the Manatees 3 games back. If Brevard can win tonight, they will pick up a game on whoever loses that game in Tampa tonight between the Cubs and the Yankees. And to show you how quickly things can turn around the other way between the first half and the second half, the Dunedin won the first half with a record of 41-29, but right now they are in last place in the North Division at 21-30, 12 games behind Tampa. Of course, Dunedin could lose every game for the rest of the regular season, and they're still going to be going to the playoffs. They will play whoever wins the North Division here in the second half. And let's just say, for example, that it happens to be the Manatees. Well, Game 1 of that best-of-3 series would be here in Brevard, and then Games 2 and, if necessary, 3 would be in Dunedin. I'll give you the starting lineups for both teams in just a moment, so if you want to get a pencil and a piece of paper, I'll give you the lineups in just a few moments. But before we do that, a couple of administrative things. First of all, let's tell you about what's going on with the weather, because this time of year, of course, in the Space Coast, our weather is rather combustible, and rain can pop up out of nowhere at nature's whim. Right now, the temperature here is 88 degrees, and with 67% humidity, it feels like 99. The wind is blowing out of the southeast at 13 miles an hour, which means that the flagpoles out in left center field are basically pointing out towards first base. We can see from the vantage of the press box here that there are large thunderstorms to the west over central Florida, and in fact we can even see a couple columns of smoke. That means that there are lightning strikes out there that are hitting in some rural farmland and setting off some wildfires out there. But with the wind blowing in from the ocean, we would think that it's going to take a more substantial effort for those clouds to get over here. The latest weather forecast I saw on weather.com suggested that our best chance of rain is 70%, and that would be around 10 p.m. Eastern Time, just about the time, hopefully, we're wrapping up this ball game. So stay tuned, and we'll see how the weather goes. As always, these broadcasts are a volunteer effort of SpaceCoastBaseball.com. The Manatees do not have a radio contract. It's a SpaceCoastBaseball.com volunteer to do 15 games over the internet this year, and this is one of the remaining 3. So if you've enjoyed these webcasts during the year, or you're going to listen for the last 3, please consider supporting what we do by making a one-time donation or signing up for a $5 a month voluntary subscription to SpaceCoastBaseball.com. You can do that by going to the homepage at www.SpaceCoastBaseball.com. On the menu bar, click on Homepage, and you'll see a link there that tells you how to donate to SpaceCoastBaseball.com. All right, now, here are the starting lineups for both teams, starting with the Dunedin Blue Jays. Leading it off and in center field is number 4, Anthony Gose, G-O-S-E. He was here earlier in the year as a member of the Clearwater Threshers, the Philadelphia Phillies affiliate, but he was traded in late July, and we'll talk about that later. Batting second and at second base is number 12, Ryan Schimpf, S-C-H-I-M-P-F. Batting third and at third base is number 9, Mark Sobolewski, spelled S-O-B-O-L-E-W-S-K-I. Batting fourth is a designated hitter, number 40, Mike McDade, M-C-D-A-D-E. Batting fifth is the first baseman, number 29, John Talley, Talley. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 5, Jan, Y-A-N, Gomes, G-O-M-E-S. Batting seventh, and in right field is number 30, Justin McClanahan, M-C-C-L-A-N-A-H-A-N. Batting eighth is the shortstop, number 13, Ryan Goins, G-O-I-N-S. And batting ninth is the left fielder, number 15, Kenny Wilson. And the starting pitcher, number 34, right-hander Dumas Garcia, D-U-M-A-S. All right, now the starting lineups for the Manatees. Leading it off, and at second base is number 3, Matt Klein, C-L-I-N-E. Batting second and at third base, number 10, Sergio Miranda. Batting third and in center field is number 8, Eric with a K, Kamatsu. Batting fourth is the designated hitter, number 16, Angel Salome, S-A-L-O-M-E. Batting fifth is the first baseman, number 24, Sean, S-E-A-N, Halton, H-A-L-T-O-N. Batting sixth is the catcher, number 13, Sean Zaraga, that's S-H-A-W-N, Z-A-R-R-A-G-A. Batting seventh and in left field is number 33, Brock Kelgard, spelled K-J-E-L-D-G-A-A-R-D. The J and the first D are silent. Batting eighth, the right fielder, number 47, Scott with 2 T's, Krieger, K-R-I-E-G-E-R. And batting ninth is the shortstop, number 30, Juan Sanchez, as Josh Prince gets the night off. And the starting pitcher is right-hander, number 45, R.J. Seidel, S-E-I-D-E-L. We're waiting for the 2 umpires to emerge so we can have the exchange of the lineups by the managers. Of course, as always, Bob Missick, M-I-S-C-I-K, the manager for the Manatees. And the manager for the Dunedin Blue Jays is Clayton McCullough, M-C-C-U-L-L-O-U-G-H. Well, we said we'd be keeping an eye on the weather, and then looking from our vantage point, we look towards the southeast. And as I look directly to the south, I can see a large thunderhead, and it is raining to the south of us. But again, the wind is coming from the southeast, and there are no clouds out that way. Now, this time of year, as I said, the weather is very combustible, and the wind could be coming from 4 different directions at once. So it all depends on where they collide and which direction is stronger than the other. The 2 umpires now are at home plate to exchange the lineups. The home plate umpire, Joe Bourne, B-O-R-N, and the infield umpire, Jeff Morrow, M-O-R-R-O-W. As I said, we have 3 SpaceCoastBaseball.com webcasts of the Manatees left in 2010, one of them being tonight against Dunedin. We'll be back on Friday at 7:05 Eastern Time for a 1-game home series, believe it or not, against the Lakeland Flying Tigers. And then our final webcast will be Wednesday, August 25th, 7:05 p.m. here against the Tampa Yankees. We may add additional webcasts depending on how the divisional race goes in the next couple of weeks. The last home game for the Manatees is Sunday, August 29 against Clearwater. They're off on Monday the 30th, and then for the last week they're on the road with 3 games in Tampa and then 3 games in Clearwater. So depending on how things go, maybe we'll go on the road if need be, or if we're going to be here for the postseason, then of course we'll try to cover as many of the postseason games as we can. Now, what's really interesting about the standings, as we said, the Yankees in first, Daytona's in second, 2 game back, and the Manatees in third, 3 games back. We're going to talk about the head-to-head games left between those 3 teams right after the national anthem. The Manatees taking the field in their formal white uniforms with the navy lettering and numbers with the red piping. I'm going to put the headset out the window so you can listen to the national anthem, and then we'll be back.
Can
The Manatees, after the national anthem, are warming up on the field, getting ready for the first pitch of the game. The Manatees defensively have Sean Halton at first, Matt Klein at second, Juan Sanchez at short as Josh Prince gets the night off, and Sergio Miranda is at third. The outfield alignment, like always, Brock Kelgard in left, Eric Komatsu in center, and Scott Krieger in right. Sean Zaraga behind the plate, and on the mound is R.J. Seidel, and we'll tell you a little bit more about him in just a moment. I was about to give you, before the national anthem, the breakdown on the pennant race for the remaining 3 weeks of the season. The Manatees have 19 games left, and they really are in control of their fate. They're 3 games behind first base Tampa and 2 games behind second place Daytona. Of those 19 games that the Manatees have left, they have 3 against Daytona, 1 here at home and 2 on the road in Daytona, and 6 games against the Tampa Yankees, 3 here in Brevard and 3 in Tampa. The Daytona Cubs also have 19 games left, and as we said, 3 games against the Manatees, 2 in Daytona, 1 here in Brevard. And Daytona has 1 game left against the Yankees, that is tonight in Tampa. As for the Yankees, their schedule may be a little bit tougher, even though they are in first place. They have 21 games left, and the reason they have 2 more games is because of rainouts. And in fact, next Sunday and Monday, they will have to play back-to-back doubleheaders against the Lakeland Flying Tigers, one of those in Lakeland and one of those in Tampa. They will have 6 games against the Manatees, 3 here and 3 in Tampa, and then the 1 game tonight at home against Daytona. All right, Anthony Goes steps in for the Dunedin Blue Jays against R.J. Seidel. Goes batting .266 with 6 home runs, 24 RBI, batting left-handed against Seidel. R.J. winds on the first pitch of the game. The breaking ball hits the outside corner for strike 1. Goes, last time we saw him, he was with the Clearwater Threshers. Swings and hits a line drive foul down the third baseline, and it rolls down past the tarp into the left field corner. Goes was an outfielder and actually played center field for the Threshers. And then on July 29th, he was part of a blockbuster deal in which the Phillies acquired veteran right-handed Astros ace Roy Oswalt from Houston. Next pitch by Seidel is down and in, blocked by Zaraga, and the count goes 1-2. And actually, the home plate umpire, Joe Bourne, is saying that must have hit Gose on the foot as he goes down to first base. So the game ends with an odd beginning as Anthony Gose takes first, being hit by a pitch. And now on the infield, the 2 umpires are consulting. Joe Bourne, the home plate umpire, the infield umpire, Jeff Morrow. Bob Missick has come out and is standing just beyond the runner's lane on the first baseline, asking for an appeal. While they work that out, as we were saying, Gose was part of the package that the Phillies sent to Houston for Roy Oswalt, along with left-handed Major League pitcher J.A. Happ and minor leaguers Gose and Jonathan Villar. Right after he arrived in Houston, Gose was then sent to the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for first baseman Brett Wallace, who has long been considered one of the top hitting prospects in the minor leagues. And he was originally drafted in the first round by the Oakland A's. The A's then traded him. Well, I take that back. He was originally drafted by the Cardinals in the 2008 first-year draft, and the Cardinals sent him to Oakland, and Oakland then sent Wallace on to Toronto, and the Blue Jays sent him to the Astros in exchange for Gose. Meanwhile, on the field, it looks like the ruling has gone against Bob Missick because he is pointing down to first base, and he is discussing rather pointedly. He's not by any means being verbally abusive, but he is pointing his right index finger to make his point that he disagrees with the call that Gose was hit by the pitch, and he's discussing it about halfway up the first baseline with the home plate umpire, Joe Bourne. Well, as they always do, the manager loses that argument and the umpire wins. So Bob Missick returns back to the Manatees dugout on the first base side, and Gose is on first after being hit by the pitch, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Ryan Schimpf, S-C-H-I-M-P-F. Batting left-handed against Seidel. He's just 2 for 14. He arrived here a couple of days ago from the Blue Jays Midwest League affiliate, the Lansing Lugnuts, where he hit 240 in 337 at-bats. There's a pickoff throw over to first, and Gose dives back in. Gose, 38 stolen bases, but he's also been caught 31 times between Clearwater and Dunedin. RJ comes set, and his pitch is down and in. It gets past Araga. It's going to go to the backstop, and going to second is Gose. He takes a big turn around second, but holds. We did not get on the scoreboard the ruling of wild pitch versus pass ball. All things considered, I think that's probably a wild pitch. So Gose hit by a pitch and then advances on a wild pitch. Count 1-0 to Ryan Schimpf. As we said, Ryan hit 240 in the Midwest League. He had 6 home runs, 45 RBIs. He swings and hits a slow roller down to Sean Halton at first. He tosses it to Seidel, covering the bag for the out. And advancing to third is Anthony Gose. So that'll bring up the third baseman, Mark Sobolewski. And it might be pronounced Sobolewski, but didn't have time to get a pronunciation check with Dunedin. In any case, Mark batting .270 with 6 home runs, 27 RBI. Batting right-handed. Seidel working from the stretch with the runner on third, looking at the runner, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses down low, 1-0. The Brevard defense in the outfield playing at about average depth and playing Sobolewski straight away. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball, same place, and misses again. The count's 2-0. Wind blowing in from left center field, and one of the things that's interesting about RJ's numbers is that he has not allowed a home run this year. 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball sweeps way away, and the count's 3-0. RJ 3-2 with a 4.21 ERA. This is his 17th game, his 11th start. He's worked 51 1/3 innings, 52 hits, struck out 24, walked 22, but he hasn't given up a home run. 3-0 pitch, fastball inside corner, and the count goes 3-1. The league batting .265 against R.J. Seidel. 3-1 pitch is a high fly ball down the first baseline. It's going to go over the aluminum overhang and out of the park. When we did our last webcast 2 weeks ago, we have a new edition on SpaceCoastBaseball.com. If you go to the homepage and look under videos, The top link is a visual tour of the stadium to give you a little bit better idea of where everything is around here that you hear us talk about. Curveball misses away, ball 4. So Sobolewski goes to first. Remaining at third is Ghost with 1 out. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Mike McCade. McCade batting .271 with 19 home runs, 60 RBI. He leads the league in home runs. First pitch by Seidel. Down low, ball 1. The switch hitting McDade batting left-handed against Seidel is 4th in the league in slugging percentage at .461. 5th in extra base hits with 41. But he's also 5th in strikeouts at 120. Pickoff throw to first, and Sobolewski is back standing. McDade also 3rd in the league in total bases at 194. One-0 pitch. Misses away, and the count's 2-0. Well, it's pretty clear that Joe Bourne is going to have a very narrowly defined strike zone because RJ has been nibbling at the corners, but so far the home plate umpire has not been giving those corners to him. 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball down low, and the count's 3-1. On deck is the first baseman, John Talley. Just underway here in Brevard, no score, but Dunedin has runners at first and third with 1 out. 3-1 pitch. Breaking ball catches the outside corner, and the count goes 3-1. Dunedin's uniform is very similar to the parent club Toronto Blue Jays road jerseys, gray with black and navy coloring. Seidel fakes a pickoff throw to third and then turns and looks at first. No opportunities at either corner. Every rare once in a while bat works. Emphasis on the rare. 3-1 pitch. Takes it down and in, ball 4. So McDade walks. Sobolewski moves up to second base. That's 2 walks in a row by Seidel. Ghost remains at third, and Manatees pitching coach Fred Dabney is coming out to talk to Seidel. Now, RJ does not strike out very many people. As we said, only 24 strikeouts and 51 in the third innings. But he doesn't walk a lot either, 22 walks. If you want to email us during the webcast to pose a question, make a comment, to say hello, or anything else that's on your mind, just to let me know that you're out there listening, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. That's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Or if you go to the homepage at the top of spacecoastbaseball.com, there's a place you can click on that says, click here to email spacecoastbaseball.com. I was saying earlier that we posted a video that gives you a visual tour of Space Coast Stadium, so it gives you an opportunity to see all the different places we talk about during the webcast, not just the view that we have here from the press box, but we also walked down the foul lines, went into the bullpens, went out to that batter's eye in center field, so it'll give you a better idea of how things look around here. All right, first baseman John Talley steps in, batting left-handed. Breaking ball blocked by Zaraga. It was down low, and the count goes 1-0. Talley batting .236, 5 home runs, 31 RBI. Infield is drawn in at the corners. Miranda at third and Halton at first. The middle infielders, Sanchez and Klein, at average depth, hoping to turn 2 and get out of the inning. 1-0 pitch. Change up inside corner, and the count goes 1-1. The mascot Manny the Manatee down there applauding, trying to get the crowd going, and they're starting to get into it. And the 1-1 pitch. Fastball catches the outside corner, and the count goes 1-2. Sergio Miranda over there at third, staying parallel with the runner, Ghost. And that's pretty much the typical way that you defend with less than 2 outs, is you want to stay with that runner. 1-2 pitch. Outside, blocked by Zaraga, and the count goes 2-2. As we said, you have that video tour you can watch at the stadium, and you'll see that Space Coast Stadium is the most pitcher-friendly park in a pitcher-friendly league. 340 down the lines, and it's 404 to dead center. They don't post the dimensions to the alleys, but I guess it's in the 380s. Next pitch is a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count goes 3-2. And now RJ 1 pitch away from walking in the first run of the game. Still no score here in the top of the first. 1 out, but the bases are loaded. 3-2 pitch is a hard grounder up the middle. It goes past Klein into center field for a base hit. 1 run in, 2 runs in. Eric Camaso's throw goes to third as Sobolewski holds at second, or rather McDade holds at second on the single by Talley. Gose and Sobolewski score on the 2-run RBI single by John Talley, and Dunedin takes a 2-0 lead. So that'll bring up the number 6 hitter, Jan Gomes, batting .263, 5 home runs, 31 RBI. First pitch by Seidel is a cut fastball that's just within the strike zone for a strike, 0-1. McDade off second, Talley off first. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed at a changeup, 0-2. There isn't much speed in the Dunedin lineup. Anthony Gose, 38 stolen bases, leadoff. Ryan Schimpf had 11 at Lansing, and after that it really tails off until you get to the number 9 hitter, Kenny Wilson. This pitch is swung on, and it's a foul ball off to the right side. It leaves the stadium, and the count remains 0-2. RJ comes set, looks back at the runner at second. Leaves a fastball up high, and it counts 1-2. The last time that RJ faced Dunedin was here at Space Coast Stadium on July 9th. The Manatees won that game in 12 innings, 7-6. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, he hangs it, and it's a line drive at Miranda. It goes past him down the left field line. Stopping at third is McDade. And going to second is Talley on the single by Gomes. So once again, the bases are loaded with 1 out. And that'll bring up the number 7 hitter, right fielder Justin McClanahan, batting .266, 5 home runs, 24 RBI. When RJ faced Dunedin here on July 9, he worked 3 innings and gave up 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 5 and walked 1. But it looks like a different story so far tonight. First pitch by Seidel is a curveball that misses down and away, 1-0. If the Manatees have somebody warming up in the bullpen, we cannot see them because the bullpen is tucked way behind the right field corner, out of view. This pitch is a foul ball back here towards the press box. It should go on the roof. Didn't come back, but I didn't hear a bang, so maybe it cleared the roof, and the count goes 1-1. If you are here in Brevard County listening to this webcast, still plenty of time for you to get here. All seats general admission, $7 per person. You can sit anywhere in the park you like. 1-1 pitch. Fastball misses away, and the count goes 2-1. I think you can get here to Space Coast Stadium from anywhere in Brevard County within a half hour. Easiest way to do it is to get on the Interstate 95 freeway and exit at Fisk Boulevard, which is exit 195. Fastball in the strike zone, and the count goes 2-2. So take the I-95 to exit 195 Fisk Boulevard and follow the signs, turn south, and go 3 miles. Fisk Boulevard becomes Stadium Parkway, and you'll be at Space Coast Stadium. 2-2 pitch. Down and away, blocked by Zaraga, and the count goes 3-2. And once again, R.J. Seidel, one pitch away from walking in a run. McDade at third, Talley at second, Gomes at first. The Blue Jays already leading 2-0, with only one out here in the top of the first. 3-2 pitch. Curveball bounced onto Miranda at third. He steps on the bag at third for one, goes on to Halton at first, double play. So for Dunedin, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 left. And as we go to the bottom of the first, it's the Blue Jays 2, the Manatees against Dumas Garcia coming to bat. Well, if you haven't listened to these webcasts before, one of the things that makes them a little bit different is that because this is not a normal radio broadcast, the Manatees don't have a radio contract. SpaceCoastBaseball.com volunteers to do 15 webcasts a year for free. But we don't have any products to sell. We don't have any ads to run. And that means that between innings, we just keep on going and we keep on talking. So once again, if you have anything that you want to ask about, any comments, concerns, or just want to let me know somebody's listening, you can email me at home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Again, that's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. I know Dunedin does not have any road broadcast. I think they only broadcast Friday night home games. So we may have some fans out there in Dunedin listening, and if there are, please give me an email and let me know you're out there. home@spacecoastbaseball.com. I have an email from a Milwaukee Brewers fan who's asking me about Angel Salome. He wants to know how many of Angel's home runs have been taken away from the spacious ballpark. Well, I haven't been here for every game. As I said, I'm only doing 15 home games. But I can say in general that, again, this ballpark very spacious, as you saw. And on most nights, the wind is blowing in. It'll either blow from left to right, and for a right-handed hitter like Salome, that'll work against him. And if it's blowing in like it is right now from left center field, that'll also work against him. So it's kind of hard to say for sure how many he may have lost, but generically speaking, this park is not friendly to power hitters. All right, bottom of the first, the Manatees have their work cut out for them. They already trailed 2-0. Matt Klein will be followed by Sergio Miranda and Eric Komatsu. Klein batting .279, no home runs, 32 RBI. First pitch by Garcia, fastball outside corner, strike one. Matt, second in the Florida State League at on-base percentage at .390. And the guy ahead of him, Eric Komatsu, is batting third in this inning. There's a fastball way and away, and the count's 1-1. Dumas Garcia making an emergency start for the Dunedin Blue Jays. He's been a reliever all year long. 1-1 pitch is a check swing, and it's going to get into right field for a base hit past the second baseman, Schimpf. Fielding the ball is McClanahan, and Matt Klein is on first with a check swing single. So that'll bring up the third baseman, Sergio Miranda. Sergio batting .291, 2 home runs, 65 RBI. Switch hitter batting left-handed against Garcia, who makes a pickoff throw to first, but Matt Klein dives back in. Klein, 13 for 28 and stolen bases. First pitch to the plate, fastball way outside, 1-0. Matt Klein, I was going to say that Sergio Miranda, second best contact hitter in the league, swings and hits a foul ball the opposite way on top of the aluminum overhang on the third base side and out of the stadium, 1-1. Sergio, second best contact hitter in the league, strikes out only once every 11.43 at plate appearances, not at bats, plate appearances. That includes walks, being hit by pitches and whatnot. There's another pickoff throw to first and Klein is back. The reason Dumas Garcia is making an emergency start for Dunedin is they're out of starting pitchers. Next pitch by Garcia is foul ball, pretty much back the same place. Is it going to hit the overhang? Yes, it does. And it counts 1-2. The regular starter, Henderson Alvarez, one of the better prospects in the Toronto system, went on the disabled list last Friday. And Dunedin has had 2 makeup doubleheaders in the last few days. There's a hard grounder into right field for a base hit. Pass Talley around second, heading for third is Matt Klein. Here comes a pickoff throw, not in time. Runners at the corners with nobody out. So Matt Klein and Sergio Miranda lead it off with back-to-back singles, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Eric Komatsu, batting .320, 4 home runs, 51 RBI. Garcia, as we were saying, making an emergency start. Overall, with a record of 3-5 and a 3.11 ERA in 28 relief appearances. First pitch to Komatsu is a hard grounder into right field for a base hit. That'll score Klein. Miranda around second and holds as McClanahan gets the ball in. So 3 singles in a row, and the Manatees to cut the deficit to 2-1. So that'll bring up the designated hitter, Angel Salome, batting .270, 3 home runs, 23 RBI. Quickly finishing on Garcia in 46 1/3 relief innings, 33 strikeouts, 19 walks. He's given up 48 hits. Hit 4 batters and given up 2 home runs. He looks back at Miranda off second, and the first pitch is a foul ball down the first base side, and the count goes 0-1. Garcia actually has a rather interesting career. He actually began his career with the Seattle Mariners back in 2002. This pitch is swung on and fouled back into the net, and the count goes 0-2. Garcia was signed at age 18 out of Colombia by the Mariners, who then released him in May 2004. And for the next 3 years, he did not play in organized baseball in North America. 0-2 pitch to Salome is down low, and the count's 1-2. In 2007, he signed with South Georgia of the independent South Coast League. And then after the season was over, was signed by the Chicago Cubs. 1-2 pitch to Salome. Fastball down and away, and the count's 2-2. In 2008, he was with 3 different teams in the Cubs system, played as high as AAA. And then in 2009, he was traded by the Cubs to the Blue Jays for future considerations, which basically means, well, you can have him, maybe you'll do us a favor later on. 2-2 pitch, misses down and away with an off-speed pitch, and the count goes full, 3-2. Last year, his first in the Blue Jay system, Garcia, 2 games at AAA Las Vegas, the rest of them at Dunedin in 38 games, 6-2 with a 2.20 record, mostly in relief. 3-2 pitch is a line drive down the right field line. It's going to get past McClanahan into the corner. Coming around third to score is Miranda. Right behind him is Komatsu. No, he's being held up by Bob Missick. Stopping at second is Angel Salome with the double, and we are tied at 2. Well, with nobody out and we're only in the first inning and we've just tied the game, Bob Missick decided to let caution be his guide, although I think Eric had a pretty good chance of scoring there. In any case, Komatsu at third, Salome at second on the RBI double, and it's a brand new ball game, and Sean Halton is at the plate. First pitch by Garcia, swung on and missed at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1. Halton batting .290, 9 home runs, 58 RBI. Bats right-handed. Next pitch by Dumas is a line drive up the alley, left center field. That'll score Komatsu and Salome. It may make it all the way to the wall. Picked up on the warning track by Ghost. Stopping at second is Halton. And the Manatees take a 4-2 lead. Well, here comes Brevard pitching, Dunedin pitching coach Daryl Knowles. The first 5 Manatees to come to plate here in the bottom of the first have reached base. Matt Klein started the inning with a single. Advanced to third on the single by Sergio Miranda. Eric Komatsu then singled to score Klein and advanced Miranda to second. Angel Salome doubled to score Miranda, and Komatsu advanced to third, and then Salome and Komatsu scored on the double by Halton. So that'll bring up the catcher, Sean Zaraga, batting .282, 2 home runs, 23 RBI. He bats left-handed. Halton off at second. First pitch by Garcia, down and in, 1-0. The radar gun, which is mounted on a pole behind home plate, has been showing Garcia's velocity tends to be around 90, 92, 93. 1-0 pitch, down and in. Almost got past the catcher, Gomes. But he kept it from the backstop, so the count goes 2-0. We cannot see the Manatees bullpen down the right field line, but we can see the visitors' bullpen, which runs parallel to the left field line from the left field foul pole, and there's some stirring, but nobody's up yet. Zaraga swings and fouls it back on the left side, and the count goes 2-1. The left field wall, about maybe 5 feet tall, runs from the left field foul pole all the way to the batter's eye in center. And so usually you can see a little bit of what's going on in that visitor bullpen. Next pitch is swung on, and he pulls it foul. Hitting coach Dwayne Hosey, who's coaching at first, stops it with a foot, and the count goes 2-2. In dead center field, there's a batter's eye that goes up a good 25, 30 feet. That is in play. So if the ball hits anywhere on that batter's eye, it's in play. It's not a home run. 2-2 pitch to Zaraga. Leaves a off-speed pitch away, and the count goes 3-2. On deck is Brock Kilgard. 3-2 pitch. Checks his swing and rolls it foul down to the first base coach, Hosey. And Hose is always being friendly to the fans, tosses the ball into some children. The count remains 3-2. Still nobody out for Brevard here in the bottom of the first. Dunedin put 2 runs on the board in the top of the first, but the Manatees have come back and scored 4 runs, 5 hits, and there's nobody out. We said that batter's eye in center field is in play. As you go from center to right, there's actually 2 levels of fences out there. 3-2 pitch is swung on and it's fouled the opposite way down the left field line. It'll leave the stadium, and the count remains full, 3-2. There's 2 rows of fences from center to right. The lower fence, which is in play, is about maybe 8 feet tall, and the upper fence, which carries advertisements, is set back from that fence a few feet. Next pitch is down and in, ball 4. So Zaraga walks, and then Halton's still at second, and that'll bring up left fielder Brock Kilgard. Brock Kilgard batting .243 with 13 home runs, which lead the Manatees, and 63 RBIs, which is second only to Sergio Miranda, who has 65. First pitch by Garcia, checks his swing and fouls it and leaves it at the plate, and the count's 0-1. Brock's 13 dingers tie him for 4th in the Florida State League. But he also leads the league in strikeouts with 148. 0-1 pitch. Swings and fouls the ball right back to the net, and the count goes 0-2. There's an interesting connection between Brock and starting pitcher R.J. Seidel, which I'll tell you about maybe in the next inning if things calm down. 0-2 pitch. Fastball high and away, and the count goes 1-2. Well, I've got to think that Dunedin manager Clayton McCullough and pitching coach Darrell Knowles are going to be giving Garcia as much rope as they can because their bullpen is pretty much dry. Here's a hard grounder foul down the third baseline that bounces off the tarp, and the count's 1-2. As we said, Dunedin has had a run of make-up doubleheaders lately due to rainouts, and they lost starting pitcher Henderson Alvarez when he went on the disabled list last Friday. 1-2 pitch, swung on and miss, strike 3, 91-mile-an-hour fastball. First strikeout and first out for Garcia. And that'll bring up the number 8 hitter in the inning, right fielder Scott Krieger, batting .246 with 8 home runs, 26 RBI. Well, we're over a half hour into this game, and we still haven't managed to escape the first inning. First pitch by Garcia, swung on and fouled back to the net. The count goes 0-1. Halton at second, Zaraga at first. Manatees looking for more. They've scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the first after R.J. Seidel gave up 2 runs in the top of the first. 0-1 pitch to Garcia from Garcia is down and away, and the count goes 1-1. Checking the Florida State League scoreboard, they've delayed the start at Tampa between the Cubs and the Yankees. That suggests it's probably raining over there. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and it's fouled over on the third base side off the front of the visitors' dugout. And the count is 1-2. The wind's still blowing in, but less strongly so from left center field. Garcia throws a curveball, swung on and missed by Scott Krieger, strike 3. So after getting in a lot of trouble, Garcia has struck out the last 2 batters. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, shortstop Juan Sanchez, batting .227 with 1 home run, 19 RBI. Garcia's first pitch is a fastball down and in, 1-0. Tomas' next pitch. Swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and the count's 1-1. Garcia seems to have mixed in a couple of off-speed pitches. They might be change-ups. And that seems to be working for him the last couple batters. 1-1 pitch. That looked like a slider that missed away, and the count goes 2-1. Now, this being an emergency start for Garcia, he seemed to be attacking the inning as if it was a relief appearance. He was throwing mostly fastballs, but he's got to show other stuff if he's going to go longer here. Here's a fastball that's inside, and the count goes 2-1. 2-2. Well, you know what? I thought that was way inside, and the umpire said it was a strike. What do I know? There's a reason why he's down there and I'm up here. 2-2 pitch. Checks the swing. Did he go around? No. On a breaking ball, it swept away, and the count goes full, 3-2. Runners will be off on the pitch. Sean Halton at second, and Sean Zaraga at first. 3-2 pitch to Sanchez. Checks his swing and fouls it over on the first base side, and the count remains full at 3-2. That was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, according to the radar gun. radar gun is mounted on a pole behind home plate, and the numbers display on the scoreboard, which is out in left field. There's a little block underneath the scoreboard where the number is displayed. 3-2 pitch. Swings and hits it the opposite way down the right field line, but it's going to go into the stands. And the count remains 3-2. Looks like we have maybe just short of 1,000 people in the stands tonight. 3-2 pitch. Takes it, strike 3 called. So after giving up 5 hits and a walk that led to 4 runs, Tomas Garcia gets 3 strikeouts in a row to get out of the inning. So 4 runs, 5 hits, a walk, no errors, and 2 left. And after 1 here in Space Coast Stadium in Brevard, we have what legendary wrestling announcer Jim Ross would call a slobber knocker. It's the Manatees 4 and the Blue Jays 2. I'm going to put the headset out the window so I can turn on the lights here in the booth, and I'll be right back.
Our goal is to ultimately help seniors remain in their homes and remain independent. We ask volunteers to donate 2 hours, 1 day per week, Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. For more information, please visit our website at www.mealsonwheels.org.
Hi, I'm back. I teased you earlier that there was a connection between R.J. Seidel, who's now warming up for the second inning, and left fielder Brock Helgard. R.J., early in his career, in 2007, was pitching for the Helena Brewers, which are the Milwaukee Brewers parent club affiliate in the Rookie A Pioneer League. And R.J., on June 30th of 2007, pitched 6 innings of no-hit ball in Missoula against the Osprey. And as he was done with those 6 innings, he had reached his pitch count, and the Helena Brewers coaching staff was texting the Brewers minor league pitching coordinator, Jim Rooney, asking if they could let him keep on going past his pitch count, which was 85. More on that in just a moment. Top of the second, shortstop Ryan Goins leads it off, followed by Kenny Wilson, and then Anthony goes to the top of the lineup. First pitch to Goins is a strike. So in any case, RJ had gone 6 innings of no-hit ball and reached his pitch count limit of 85. There's an off-speed pitch that misses away, and the count's 1-1. Unable to reach the pitching coordinator for the Brewers, the Helena manager decided to pull the plug on RJ. Next pitch misses low, and the count's 2-1. So Seidel was relieved by Corey Freyricks, who gave up the first hit of the game, and in fact all 3 hits of the game. This pitch is a hard grounder past Halton into right field for a base hit. Scott Krieger fields it and gets it back into Matt Klein, and Goins leads it off with a single. So that'll bring up left fielder Kenny Wilson, recently arrived from Lansing in the Midwest League, where he was hitting just .216, no home runs, 22 RBI in 361 at-bats. Also struck out 112 times. There's a throw over to first, and Goins dives back in. He has only 1 stolen base for Dunedin this year. In any case, wrapping up the story about RJ's no-hit attempt. Breaking ball misses away. Boy, they're just not giving him that pitch tonight. 1-0. RJ was relieved by Corey Freyricks, who now is in the bullpen here at Brevard, and Freyricks gave up 3 runs, 3 hits, and 2 innings. Next pitch swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. In the ninth inning of that game, the ninth inning for Helena was pitched by Brock Kelgard. Brock began his Brewers career as a pitcher, and he was relieving for Helena at that time. There's another throw over to first, and diving back in is Goins. So in that ninth inning, Kelgard worked one inning, did not strike out or walk anyone, but he didn't give up a hit either. And the Helena Brewers won that game by a score of 8-3 at Missoula against the Osprey. 1-1 pitch. Swung on a miss at an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 1-2. Speaking of Osprey, an Osprey is basically sort of like a hawk or an eagle, and they have them not just in Montana, but also they're very common here in Florida. They're a predatory raptor-type bird. 1-2 pitch, checks his swing and rolls it down to Sanchez, who flips it to Klein at second for one, on to first, not in time to get Wilson. So Goins has gone 6-4. Wilson reaches on the fielder's choice. And with one out, we go to the top of the lineup to center fielder Anthony Ghost, who led things off by being hit by a pitch. Kenny Wilson at first, as we said, just arrived from Lansing. 36 for 47 in stolen base attempts in the Midwest League, but he's yet to attempt a bag here in the Florida State League. Being held on by Halton at first. And there's a pickoff attempt, and the front of Mr. Wilson's jersey is now officially dirty. In any case, talking about Osprey, we see them all over the Space Coast here, and they tend to nest at the top of telephone poles, light poles like we have here at the stadium out in left and right center field. Pitch is swung on and fouled to the backstop. The count goes 0-1. You see them on the light poles at ballparks throughout the area, and our light pole out in left center field has had a really large osprey nest atop it all season long. But arriving at the ballpark tonight, I noticed that nest is abandoned and it's almost entirely gone. And no, nobody went up there and deliberately removed it. Most likely what happened was the osprey moved on and the nest got partially blown away by winds. Nature takes its course. Another pickoff throw to first, and once again Wilson dives back in. Ghost batting left-handed at the plate, so with Halton holding on the runner, that's a big hole on the right side for Ghost to pull the ball through. 0-1 pitch. Misses down low, and the count's 1-1. RJ's next pitch. Fastball misses away, and the count goes 2-1. Kenny Wilson at first was ranked by Baseball America in the spring as the Blue Jays' overall number 28 prospect. He said he immediately established himself as one of the best athletes and runners in the organization. But they also said if he doesn't do a better job of getting on base, though, he won't get the most out of his ability. He began working on switch hitting in Instructional League after the 2008 season. 2-1 pitch, down and in, the count goes 3-1. Baseball America says that Kenny Wilson has good instincts on the bases and has stolen 65 bases in 146 pro games through the end of 2009. There he goes, pitch, down and in, ball 4. That is the third walk given up by R.J. Seidel. Advancing on the walk to second base is Kenny Wilson. So between Wilson and Anthony Ghost, who has 38 stolen bases himself, that's a lot of speed on the base paths for Dunedin. Ghost ranks third in the Florida State League in stolen bases with 38. Ahead of him are Kevin Madison of Jupiter at 43 and The Manatees' Josh Prince, who has the night off, he has 41. Ryan Schimpf at the plate, grounded to first, his first time up. Shortstop Sanchez races over to the bag at second. No pickoff throw, but Ghost dives back in, Wilson dives in anyway. First pitch to Ryan is fouled back into the net, and the count goes 0-1. Big gap in left center field for the left-handed hitting Schimpf. Brock Kelgard in left, playing a little bit over towards the line, and Eric Komatsu a couple of steps into right center field. 0-1 pitch is a fly ball to left field. Brock Kelgard given some ground over towards the line, so he hadn't played right, and nabs it for the first out, for the second out. It's actually the first fly out of the game. So that'll bring up the third baseman, Mark Sobolewski, or Sobolewski, depending on how you pronounce it, Sobolewski. He walked his first time up and scored one of Dunedin's 2 runs. Runners take their lead. Sanchez again deking at second, and the throw is into second base, but in standing is Kenny Wilson. Seidel, working from the third base side of the rubber, throws an off-speed pitch that misses up and in, and the count goes 1-0. Next pitch by RJ is a fly ball to center field. Is it going to get down in front of Komatsu, who dives, actually gets just behind him. Komatsu picks it up, throws it back in, and makes a very poor throw that goes halfway between third and home where nobody was standing. Both runners score. Advancing to second is Sobolewski, and we're tied at 4. An error is going to be charged to Eric Komatsu. That ball was right in front of him. He dove for it. It got past him, but not by far, only a couple of feet. He got up, picked the ball up, and then it looked like he was trying to hit a cutoff man. I don't know where he was throwing it, but it went halfway between third and home where there was nobody standing. And that allowed both runs to score. So that'll be a single for Sobolewski, who then advances to second on the error by the center fielder Komatsu. This is a ground ball on McDay to Halton at first, who flips it over to Seidel covering the bag for the final out. So the Manatees now fall tied with Dunedin 4-4. Dunedin gets 2 runs on 2 hits, an error, a walk, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second. Like I said, it's going to be a slobber knocker. So far, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the Manatees 4. I'm guessing that run that was scored by Anthony Ghost, which would have been the second of the 2 runs, Kenny Wilson was ahead of him. Wilson scored on the single, and I think the way you would score it is that Ghost advanced to third on the single and then came home on the throwing error by Eric Komatsu, who really knows better and has done outstanding in center field all year long. But none of us are infallible, and he's capable of making a mistake every once in a while, just like the rest of us. And certainly Eric has had a great year, far beyond what anybody would have predicted. Right now, his .320 batting average is second in the league. He's second in the league in hits with 133, leads an on-base percentage at .407. Tied for the lead in walks. Third in runs scored with 73. So I think he's earned a mulligan. Bottom of the second and a 4-4 tie. We are at the top of the lineup again for the Manatees. It'll be Matt Klein, followed by Sergio Miranda and Eric Komatsu. Klein singled his first time up to start the carnage for Brevard. Matt leads the league in the dubious statistic of being hit by pitches 18 times. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off to the right side, 0-1. We had a game here earlier where the pitcher that leads the league in hitting batters faced Klein, who was leading the league in being hit, and sure enough, he hit him right in the noggin. Next pitch down and in, and the count goes 1-1. That pitcher was Charlotte's Nick Barnese. He now has 18 himself. Next pitch misses away, and the count goes 2-1. As we said, Klein second in the league in on-base percentage at .390. 2-1 pitch. It's a chopper down to shortstop. Goins goes across to Talley at first for the out. It's a little more sedate opening here in the top of the second. So that'll bring up the third baseman, Sergio Miranda. He singled his first time up in the first inning. First pitch by Garcia is a hard grounder on a couple of hops to the second baseman, Schimpf, who goes on to Talley for the second out. So that'll bring to the plate Eric Komatsu, looking for a little bit of redemption after that throwing error in center field in the top of the frame. It led to one unearned run. First pitch by Garcia is down and in, 1-0. Well, maybe things are going to finally calm down here. It's been a wild and wacky start to this game. Next pitch, fastball, lower part of the strike zone for a strike, and the count goes 1-1. As we said, Garcia pressed into service as an emergency starter, and nobody warming up in the Dunedin bullpen. Swing and a miss at a changeup, and the count goes 1-2. Don't know how far Garcia can go. One-two pitch, up and in, and the count goes 2-2. Garcia has been in 28 games, worked 46 innings, and that's about 1 2/3 innings per appearance. Next pitch down and in, and the count goes full, 3-2. On deck is Angel Salome. 3-2 pitch, swung on and fouled back into the net, and the count remains 3-2. Garcia is still throwing gas. He just registered 94, which is the highest number I've seen for him so far tonight. Three-two pitch. Swung on and fouled the opposite way, past the aluminum overhang and out of the stadium. The count remains 3-2. He's no longer in the top 5 in contact, but Komatsu certainly has been right up there with Sergio Miranda most of the year in terms of making contact when he's at the plate. Next pitch whistles away, ball 4, so Komatsu is on first with a 2-out walk. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up the designated hitter Angel Salome, who doubled in the first to drive in the second run for the Manatees. Komatsu takes his lead. First pitch, fastball, outside corner, 0-1. Eric Komatsu, 22 for 29 in stolen bases. Garcia throws over to first, and Komatsu dives back in. Now, Dumas actually stepped off the rubber with his back foot, which normally is enough to force a runner to go back. There's another throw to first. He stepped off the rubber, and Komatsu didn't budge, so Dumas thought, well, if I have got to do it, I'll do it, and he threw it over there. There goes Komatsu. Pitches inside, and no throw down to second by Jan Gomes. That's stolen base number 23 for Komatsu. And Eric took off before Garcia even went into his windup. It was almost as if he had anticipated Garcia throwing, and Garcia didn't. Now, it may have also been he thought he maybe just catch Garcia napping. Either way, he's on second base. Swing and a miss at a curveball. The count goes 1-2. Gomes, the catcher, Gomes rather, Gomes, came into the game 17 for 46, throwing out runners, a 37% average. That'll go to 17 for 47. 1-2 pitch, swung on, and it's a high fly ball foul down the right field line. That's going to escape the park by going right over the bleachers. 1-2 pitch. So a slow grounder down to third. It gets past Komatsu. The third baseman, Sobolewski, throws on to first for the final out. Well, the third baseman, Sobolewski, and the runner, Komatsu, almost mixed up with one another as that ball arrived. And, of course, if Komatsu runs into him, it's interference. But it got past him, and Sobolewski made the play 5-3 to end the inning. No runs, no hits, a walk, and one left. And after two here at Space Coast Stadium, it's Dunedin 4 and the Manatees 4. Looking at other scores in the Florida State League, of course, we're watching the Daytona-Tampa game. That's the one that affects the Manatees in their race for the second half title. That game is still delayed, presumably by rain. Other scores, Fort Myers Miracle, a Minnesota Twins affiliate, down the road in Jupiter to play the Hammerheads, Marlins affiliate, and the Miracle lead the Hammerheads 2-1 in the sixth. At Clearwater, the Flying Tigers lead the Clearwater Threshers by a score of 1-0 in the fourth. At Bradenton, the Marauders in the fourth lead the Palm Beach Cardinals 3-1. Bradenton is a Pittsburgh Pirates affiliate. In Charlotte, the St. Lucie Mets lead the Charlotte Stone Crabs by a score of 4-0. That's in the top of the third, and the Stone Crabs are a Tampa Bay Rays affiliate. Well, wouldn't you know, it would be the Tampa game, the one that we're all keeping an eye on, is the one that's being delayed, probably due to rain. Once again, if you want to send an email, it's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Top of the third, 4-4 tie. It'll be John Talley leading it off for Dunedin, followed by Jan Gomes and Justin McClanahan. Talley singled his first time up to drive in the first two runs for Dunedin. First pitch by Seidel, high and away, and the count goes 1-0. Next pitch by RJ is a high fly ball to center field. Eric Komatsu giving some ground, but he has plenty of room out there. And as it always does, it comes down for the first out. So that'll bring up the catcher, Jan Gomes, who singled in the first. Well, we checked the weather earlier, and at game time, there was a chance of rain around 10 o'clock. It was around 70%. First pitch misses and the count goes 1-0. That chance of rain apparently has disappeared because now, according to weather.com, it's showing no better than a 20% chance. He hangs a curveball. It's a high fly ball over the head of Kelgard. One hops the wall. Brock picks it up off the wall, and going into second with a double is Jan Gomes. Well, we said that Space Coast Stadium is most likely the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in the league. And in some ballparks, I suspect that would have been the first home run of the year given up by R.J. Seidel. Instead, it's a double by Gomes, who represents the lead run for Dunedin here in the top of the third, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Justin McClanahan. In any case, the weather forecast now is showing 10% chance of rain until the 10 o'clock hour, which is now just 20%. McClanahan swings and misses at a breaking ball, and the count goes 0-1. And after that hour, it just goes back down to 10%. Well, the weather is very volatile around here, and you never know, so you have to keep an eye on it. Next pitch by Seidel. Inside with a curveball, and the count goes 1-1. RJ looks back at the runner, and the 1-1 pitch is a curveball that gets behind Zaraga, but Gomes does not advance, and the count goes 2-1. We had seen some thunderclouds about maybe a half hour, 45 minutes ago directly to the south, but those have pretty much dissipated, and the wind continues to blow in from the southeast, and there's nothing out there. 2-1 pitch. There's another curveball that's hung, and it's pulled foul down the left field line. It had home run distance, but McClanahan way in front of it and pulled it a good 75 feet foul. On deck is Ryan Goins. 2-2 pitch. Is a curveball that's hit high to center field. Eric Komatsu is there and has it for the second out. Holding at second is Gomes. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Ryan Goins, who singled to lead off the top of the second. Bob Missick coming out to talk to Seidel, and it looks like that's going to be it for RJ. The infield umpire, Jeff Morrow, going down into the right field corner to the Manatees bullpen. And as we said, we can't see the bullpen here. It's hidden from view, so your guess is as good as mine. Who's coming out? We'll find out here in just a moment. RJ gets a polite round of applause as he leaves the field. He worked 2 2/3 innings. He's responsible for the 4 runs that have been given up so far, and he's also responsible for Gomes out at second. Well, it seems every webcast we've done as of late has been fairly unique, and this one no different. Dunedin forced to use a reliever as an emergency starter, and meanwhile R.J. Seidel, uncharacteristically wild, and he's done for the night in the top of the third. New pitcher appears to be number 14, Brandon Ritchie. The left-hander wearing, yes, number 14, so that would be Brandon Ritchie.
Ladies and gentlemen, pitching change for the Manatees. Now pitching number 14, Brandon Ritchie.
Ritchie making his 34th appearance of the year. Has 2 starts. Overall, a record of 3-6 with a 6.56 ERA. In 59 innings, 27 strikeouts and 43 walks. Yes, more walks than strikeouts. He's also thrown 11 wild pitches, given up 53 runs, 43 of them earned, 87 hits in 59 innings. Brandon also leads the league in a rather obscure category. He leads the league in sacrifice hits allowed with 10. What that means, I haven't a clue, but he does. At least the league's leading something. All right, Ryan Goins at the plate with Jan Gomez at second and 2 down. First pitch by Ritchie sweeps away and the count's 1-0. As we said, Goins singled to lead off the second. Next pitch by Ritchie. Slingshots a pitch to the low and outside point, and the count goes 2-0. He doesn't quite drop down to sidearm, but he has sort of a slingshot motion, and that ball traveled rather horizontally across the plane of the strike zone, and he missed away, and the count's 2-0. Next pitch hits the outside corner, and the count goes 2-1. I think that's the spot he was going for in the last pitch. Ritchie looks back at Gomes, and the 2-1 pitch misses away the same spot, and the count goes 3-1. This is Ritchie's third year in the Milwaukee Brewers organization. The 3-1 pitch hits the outside corner, count goes 3-2. Goins thought it was ball 4 and took a couple of steps towards first, twirled his bat, but didn't let go. You know, umpires don't like that when you try to show them up. So this one probably needs to be way outside to be called the ball. 3-2 pitch is outside, ball 4. So Goins on first, Gomes on second, still 2 down, and that'll bring up left fielder Kenny Wilson, who reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning. As we said, this is the third year for Brandon Ritchie in the Brewers organization. Like most of them, he started out in rookie A. Helena. There's a hard grounder down to Sanchez at short. He goes to Klein at second for the force to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the third. It's the Dunedin Blue Jays 4 and the Brevard County Manatees 4. Well, since you and I last talked, one of the major dates in the minor league baseball calendar passed on Monday. That was the signing deadline for 2010 June draft picks. Once upon a time, after the June draft, the team that selected you held your rights for an entire year, up until a couple of days before the next draft, and then you went back into the pool. But that rule was changed a couple of years ago. I think it was about 3 years ago, where Major League Baseball, primarily because they got tired of playing slap and tickle with super agent Scott Boras, they felt that it would be to their benefit to establish an earlier deadline, the first Monday around mid-August. I guess you could say third Monday in August. In this case, August 16th. And if you didn't sign by then, you were in limbo until the next draft. So all it's really done is it's sort of force-fed the signing deadline. In any case, the Washington Nationals, our landlord here, they have the main lease with Brevard County for Space Coast Stadium, and then they use this as their spring training home. And after that, the Manatees, who are a Milwaukee Brewers affiliate, come in for the summer. But the Nationals, for the second year in a row, had the number one pick in the country. Last year, of course, they picked Steven Strasburg, who made his professional debut on this field in Fall Instructional League last October. And this year, the Nationals selected Bryce Harper, number one overall. Meanwhile, Sean Halton at the plate. Dumas Garcia in his third inning of work, and fastball misses away 1-0. Bryce Harper was the number one pick overall by the Nationals, and he signed on Monday with a couple of minutes to spare. 1-0 pitch hits the outside corner, and the count's 1-1. Both Strasburg and Harper represented by Scott Boras. And according to media reports, Harper will be reporting in a couple of days to the Nationals' Rookie A camp here in Vieira. There's a grounder down to short. Goins over to Talley for the first out. So with one out, that'll bring up the catcher, Sean Zaraga, who walked his last time up. As we said, the Nationals are the primary tenant here at the Space Coast Complex. The Manatees rent the facility during the summer, but they are not a Nationals affiliate. They're a Brewers affiliate. First pitch is Zaraga, misses away 1-0. If you go across the all-grass parking lot here to the north, you get to the Nationals minor league training complex. There's a fly ball down the left field line, curling foul, and out of play. Kenny Wilson went over to take a look at it, but it was about 5 rows up into the stands. So the count 1-1. In any case, Bryce Harper will be reporting over there to the minor league complex in a couple of days, and they still have about another week or two left to go in their summer league season. Fastball misses up and away, and the count's 2-1. Those games are free, and anybody can walk in and watch those games. The home games typically start at noon. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 2-2. If you go to the SpaceCoastBaseball.com homepage, on the menu bar it says Vieira Nationals, and if you click on that, the drop-down menu shows you that you can get both the roster and the schedule for the Vieira Nationals. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and it's fouled to our left, and it goes over the press box, and the count remains 2-2. Where do those balls go when they go over our roof? In any case, we are, of course, in the Florida State League, and there's another league here throughout the state called the Gulf Coast League. Breaking ball outside corner, strike 3 call, and that's the 4th strikeout for Dumas Garcia. So that brings up left fielder Brock Kelgard, who struck out his first time up. In any case, the Florida State League is what's called Advanced Class A. The Gulf Coast League is what's called Rookie A. First pitch by Garcia is a fastball inside, 1-0. Next pitch by Garcia is an off-speed pitch that's left high, 2-0. So above Rookie A, you get first full year of Basic A, and then you get to Advanced Class A is what we are. High fly ball up the alley in left center field. Does it have enough to get out of here? Off the wall. Kelgard going into second with a stand-up double. Brock almost had his 14th home run of the year, and I think in any other ballpark in this league, that's home run number 14. This ball on the fly hit the BJ's Warehouse advertisement on the fence in deep left center field. I guess maybe about 390 feet away. But as we said, very deep dimensions here, and if you watch that video tour on SpaceCoastBaseball.com, it's the top link under videos, you could see right where that ball hit. Look for the BJ's Warehouse sign in the outfield. First pitch to Scott Krieger is a strike, 0-1. Krieger struck out his first time up. Next pitch by Garcia. Swung on and fouled the opposite way on the first base side, and the count goes 0-2. Well, Kelgard's hit 13 home runs this year, and I haven't called any of them. I thought this might be it, but the wind blowing in right from that direction, that may have made the difference to keep it in play. 0-2 pitch. Fastball high and away, and the count goes 1-2. Well, Garcia, as we said, averages less than 2 innings per relief appearance, and now he's 2 outs into the bottom of the third, and he's starting to lose his control. His velocity's down a little bit, and he's wilder than he was in the first 2 innings. Still no one warming up in the Dunedin bullpen. 1-2 pitch is fouled back into the net, and the count remains 1-2. Garcia 1 pitch from getting out of this inning. Time call at the plate by the batter Krieger. On deck, Juan Sanchez. Well, this game started out hot and heavy. 2 runs by Dunedin in the top of the first, 4 by the Manatees, the bottom of the first, 2 by Dunedin in the top of the second. Swung on and missed at a curveball, and that's it. That's the 5th strikeout for Garcia. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. And after 3, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the Manatees 4. Well, we were talking about the signing deadline on Monday, and we said that the Nationals signed overall pick number 1, Bryce Harper, who will be here within a couple of days, and I don't know whether he'll get into any of the Gulf Coast League games before their season ends. However, we also have something called Fall Instructional League, which will start somewhere towards the end of September. And he almost certainly will participate in that. And we should have the schedule and roster on SpaceCoastBaseball.com once we get that from the Nationals. It'll probably be somewhere in early to mid-September. Meanwhile, for the Milwaukee Brewers, the parent club of the Manatees, their first-round draft pick, Dylan Covey, did not sign, but it was for a rather unusual reason. He went to get a physical last week on Wednesday that was arranged by the Brewers, which is customary before signing a high draft pick. They did a blood test, and he got a preliminary diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. And according to an article on the website for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel newspaper, Dylan Covey's father, Darryl Covey, was quoted as saying, "We were shocked. No one in our family on either side has had diabetes for generations. It was like being hit by a dump truck. It threw us all for a loop." He said the Brewers did research on what it would take to take care of Dylan as a professional pitcher, and they still wanted to sign him. But according to Dylan's father, after much deliberation, the family decided it was best for Dylan to go to the University of San Diego to stay nearby and learn how to live and play baseball with diabetes before going pro. And he turned down a lot of money to make that decision. Mr. Covey said it didn't help that the family didn't have much time to make that decision. We'll pick up on that in just a moment. Top of the 4th on a 4-4 tie. It's the top of the lineup for the 3rd time for Dunedin. Anthony Gose, followed by Ryan Schimpf and Mark Sobolewski. First pitch by Brandon Ritchie. Way inside, and it caught Gose on the elbow. So for the 2nd time in 3 plate appearances, Anthony Gose reaches on being hit by a pitch. Gose came into the game having been hit 7 times this year. So that's numbers 8 and 9. Now keep in mind, he's stolen 38 bases this year, but he's also been caught 31 times. First pitch to Ryan Schimpf misses down and away at 1-0. Sean Zaraga behind the plate came into the game having thrown out 13 of 46 base runners, and that works out to a 28.3% success rate. Sergio Miranda, the third baseman, playing in right at the lip of the grass in case Schimpf should try to bunt. This pitch is up and in, and the count goes 2-0. Schimpf, 0 for 2, is grounded out to first and flied out to left. Sergio still in about a step or two. Now he goes back even with the bag at third, and the next pitch is a hard line drive, but it's way foul on the right field side. And the count goes 2-1. Finishing up on Dylan Covey, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Dylan Covey's father said it didn't help that the family didn't have much time to make a decision. Because Major League Baseball wants to hold out bonuses, teams were encouraged to wait as long as possible to make offers. Next pitch is a strike called, and the count goes 2-1. And Dylan's father said that made it even more difficult to know what to do. He said they still wanted him, they expressed that, but they knew they were going to have to do some special things for Dylan. In the meanwhile, we as a family were talking about what we were feeling. He had to assess whether we wanted our son to go into a minor league baseball season. We got blindsided by this, and it had to come up with a decision. This was not about money anymore. Fastball misses away, and the count goes full, 3-2. Mr. Covey said, I'll probably now be a Brewer fan the rest of my life because these guys were great with us. It just became evident that we felt more comfortable with Dylan being in school only a couple of hours away. I don't want to shed a bad light on the Brewers at all. 3-2 pitch, there goes Ghost. Swung on and missed, throw down to second, goes into center field. Ghost heading on for third as Kamasu fields the ball. So that'll be stolen base number 39 for Ghost. And they're going to charge an error for Ghost advancing to third. Now again, all we get on the scoreboard is just whether or not it's an error. And I'm going to have to guess on that and think that maybe they're going to charge the error to the infielder who was covering at the bag, and I think that was Sanchez. First pitch of Sobolewski is taken, strike one. Mark has walked and singled. Goes down the line from third with one out. Represents the lead run. Infield's drawn in. Here's a hard grounder pass to drawn in. Klein at second. That'll score. Goes to give Dunedin a 5-4 lead. Sobolewski holds at first with his second hit. He's reached all three times. And the Blue Jays have a 5-4 lead. Well, wrapping up on Dylan Covey, as we said, Major League Baseball changed the rules 3 years ago to try to put more pressure on amateurs to sign. And with the Brewers, it backfired because they got that blood test showing that there's a strike on the inside corner, 0-1 to Mike McCade. The blood test showing that Dylan Covey had type 1 diabetes, and the Brewers still wanted him, but after the Covey family basically freaked out, they were out of time. Next pitch high and away, and the count goes 1-1. If they'd had the full year to sign him, they could have reassured him and maybe said, well, you know what? You want to keep him close to home in Southern California. Why don't you come out? We'll bring him to Maryvale in Arizona, the Phoenix suburb where the Brewers minor league complex is, and that's just maybe about 4 hours drive from San Diego. So you can see what we're doing to take care of your son, and meanwhile you can get that problem resolved. Here's a high fly ball into short left field. Brock Kelgard coming in, going out as the shortstop Sanchez, but Kelgard has it near the line for the second out. So with two down, that'll bring up the first baseman, John Talley, who's singled and flied out to center field. The winds have all but died down. I was going to say the flags out there in left center field were totally limp, but now they're showing some life. Still blowing in from left center field. Dunedin has taken the lead back now 5-4. Anthony Ghost was hit by a pitch, stole second. There's a curveball, misses away, 1-0. Advanced to third on an error, and then scored on a one-out single by Mark Sobolewski. Next pitch by Ritchie is down low, and it's blocked by Zaraga, and the count goes 2-0. Well, as I was saying, we do not get on the scoreboard here any more than rudimentary information about the ruling on a play. So about all we can do is on the Minor League Baseball website, MILB.com. Here's a high fly ball, but it's way foul, leaving the stadium on the right side. The count goes 2-1. About all we can do is look at the box score on MILB.com. If you go to MILB.com, click on Scoreboard, and select the Florida State League, you'll see the listings. There's a hard ground, a line drive, backhanded by Miranda to end the inning. Wowee, I thought that was going to get down the left field line, but Miranda backhanding it as he dove towards the line to eliminate Talley and end the inning. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. And as we go to the bottom of the fourth, the Blue Jays lead the Manatees 5-4. Anyway, what I was going to say is if you go to MILB.com, click on Scoreboard, select Florida State League, and then you scroll down the list of games and you find the Manatees game, you'll see 2 links there. One says Recap and the other one says Box. And it usually runs 5 to 10 minutes behind what's happening here. But that's about the only way that we can get what the official ruling is on a play, because the official scorer is to our left in the PA booth. We can see him through the glass, but they don't make any announcements over the PA in the stadium or here in the press box telling us what official rulings are. So we kind of have to guess, and then later on it's going to be posted here on MILB.com. So we'll try to find out who that error was charged to that allowed Ghost to advance from second to third, and he eventually scored on the single. It hasn't been posted yet on MILB.com, but it should be there shortly. Looks like we may have a new pitcher for Dunedin. It's a left-hander. It's going to be number 16, Frank Gailey, Gailey. So in his emergency start, Tomas Garcia went 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, 6 hits, struck out 5, and walked 2. Of course, he can't get the win. He cannot work the minimum of 5 innings. So we go to the bottom of the fourth with the Manatees trailing Dunedin 5-4. It'll be the number 9 hitter, Juan Sanchez, then back to the top of the lineup with Matt Klein and Sergio Miranda. Sanchez struck out looking to end the first. And the first pitch by Gainey is taken down and in, ball 1. Next pitch, up and away, and the count goes 2-0. Gailey, Gailey, 5-3 with a 2.34 ERA and 39 relief appearances. Has worked 77 innings, given up 71 hits. Fastball hits the outside corner at 87 miles an hour, and it goes 2-1. In those 77 innings, 80 strikeouts and only 9 walks. Wowee. 2-1 pitch. It's a slow roller down to the shortstop Goins, who gobbles it up, goes on to Talley at first for the out. So Gailey averaging more than a strikeout an inning. 80 strikeouts in 77 innings, and he's only given up 9 walks. You have to respect a strikeout to walk ratio of almost 9-1. All right, back to the top of the lineup to Matt Klein for the third time. He's singled and grounded out to short. First pitch by Gailey. Swung on and missed at an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 0-1. Gailey, among Florida State League relievers, has the best ratio of walks to innings pitched. 0-1 pitch is inside 1-1. He averages only 1.05 walks per 9 innings. Best among the relievers in the league. This is a little flare down the right field line. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Well, for the most part, the Manatees' hits have been to right field going the opposite way. And that'll bring up Sergio Miranda, who's singled and ground out to second. In addition to having given up the fewest walks per 9 innings of any reliever in the league, Gailey also number 5 in fewest base runners per 9 innings. There's a pickoff throw to first, and Klein dives back in. Fewest base runners per 9 innings. They add up hits, walks, and hit batters and divide that by 9 innings. And for Gailey, that's 9.70. First pitch taken, strike one. So basically he's averaging about 1 runner an inning. Klein out at first, and there's a grounder into right field for a base hit. Klein around second, charging hard, but he stops. That was a slow roller with highs. The second baseman Schimpf to his left dove for it, but the ball just kind of died. If it had been hit harder, he probably would have caught it, but it just died and fell short of where he was diving and then rolled into right field for a base hit. So now the Manatees have Klein at second and Miranda at first with Eric Komatsu at the plate, who's singled and walked. Komatsu, time called by Gailey, asking the catcher, Jan Gomes, to come out, probably talk about signs. Komatsu came into this game with the second best batting average in the Florida State League at .320. He trails Stephen Vogt of the Charlotte Stonecrafts, who's at .337. 3 Manatees in the top 10. Sergio Miranda is at number 6 now, 291. Next pitch by Gailey, fastball outside corner, 0-1. And Sean Halton is number 8 at 290. Of course, a lot of the players who may have been in those top statistical leaders earlier in the year have moved up or perhaps been disabled, and they simply drop off the list because they no longer have enough at-bats to qualify. There's a curveball that misses, and the count goes 1-1. I don't know what the official formula is, but I know it used to be in Major League Baseball. They used 3.1 at-bats per every game played by the team. Here's a fly ball to center field, giving a little bit of ground is Ghost, who has it for the out. Klein tags but doesn't advance as Ghost gets the throw in quickly to the cutoff man, the shortstop, Ryan Goins. So with runners still at first and second and now 2 out, that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, designated hitter Angel Salome, who's doubled and grounded out. Gailey looks back at Klein, taking a big lead off the second. The first pitch, fastball way away, 1-0. Well, we have an official ruling on that play in the top of the fourth when Anthony Ghost stole second. He advanced to third, and the error was indeed charged to the shortstop, Juan Sanchez. Next pitch by Gailey is a slow roller down to the first baseman, who's way off the bag, and Gailey gets over and covers the bag for the final out. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We've gone 4. And it's the Dunedin Blue Jays 5 and the Brevard County Manatees 4. So in any case, also on MILB.com, looking back at some of the other scoring records, we said in the top of the second that Eric Komatsu made a poor throw, and he was indeed charged with a throwing error. And I'm trying to see here whether or not they made that an earned run or an unearned run charge to R.J. Seidel. And the answer is that it was indeed an unearned run. So Seidel's final line, 2.2 innings pitched. He gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, 5 hits, no strikeouts, and walked 3. Brandon Ritchie on the mound as we go to the top of the 5th with the Blue Jays leading 5-4 over Brevard. Well, they've been postponed at Tampa, so I'm going to check the Yankees website here, but I'm assuming that was by rain. But you never know. I've seen minor league games that get canceled for other reasons, the most typical reason being loss of power. Now, Steinbrenner Field over there, which is the spring training home of the New York Yankees, I can't imagine a malfunction in that stadium unless it was a regional type thing. In any case, while I'm checking on that top of the 5th, Dunedin trying to expand on a 5-4 lead. Catcher Jan Gomes leads it off against Brandon Ritchie. First pitch, fastball misses away at 1-0. Gomes has singled and doubled. He'll be followed by Justin McClanahan and Ryan Goins. This pitch is a high fly ball foul. It's going to curl into the stands on the first base side, and the count's 1-1. Well, the Yankees website does not indicate the nature of the postponement, so let's go try the Daytona Cubs website, which, if you want to play along, is, as you might suspect, DaytonaCubs.com. Nothing there either. Well, wait a minute here. It does say it's been canceled. Next pitch misses. Meanwhile, in the field, it's 2-1. According to DaytonaCubs.com, they have official press release on their website. 2-1 pitch, fastball high, 3-1. Tonight's game against the Tampa Yankees has been canceled. The D-Cubs will now head to Dunedin to take on the Blue Jays in a 3-game set starting tomorrow. So they have a picture of dark clouds, but it doesn't say rain. And the pitch is high, ball 4. So we'll just assume it was a rain out. And the press release says canceled. The official listing on MILB.com is postponed, and I would think with those teams locked in a death grip racing for first place, that game will be made up, if necessary, to settle who wins the North Division in the second half. Time call and pitching coach Fred Dabney coming out to talk to Brandon Ritchie. After Gomes has just walked, Justin McClanahan is at the plate. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to third and flied out to center field. Spent quite a bit of time talking about the North Division race. Let's talk about what's going on in the Florida State League South. The Charlotte Stonecrabs won the first half there with a record of 43-26, so they're automatically seeded into the postseason. And in the second half, the Palm Beach Cardinals at 29-21 have a 3-game lead over the Bradenton Marauders, Pittsburgh Pirates affiliate, and then Charlotte 3.5 back. All right, first pitch by Ritchie, swung on and missed, fastball. 86 miles an hour to Justin McClanahan. So Charlotte will face whoever wins the second half title, and it's theoretically possible that Charlotte 3.5 back with about 19 left to play could win it again. Next pitch is down and in. The count goes 1-1. if Charlotte were to win both halves, they face the team with the second best record overall, and right now that would be the Palm Beach Cardinals at 68-52. 1-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count goes 1-2. It's very difficult to judge just how good a playoff team is going to be, because the team that maybe ran away with the division in the first half, those guys get promoted, and it might be an entirely different team in the second half. 1-2 pitch is a changeup that was low, and the count goes 2-2. Or vice versa, and that's what happened with Tampa last year when they won the 2009 pennant. They had a poor first half. Actually, Brevard won the first half going away. Then Tampa shook up almost their entire roster coming into the second half, took off, won the second half title in North Division, and then took 2 straight from the Manatees to eliminate Brevard in the first round. This is a pop foul down the right field line, curling into the stands, and the count's still 2-2. The Manatees had the best overall record in the league last year, and their roster stayed fairly stable. But Tampa shook theirs up mid-year, promoted a lot of guys from Charleston to the South Atlantic League, and that made the difference. 2-2 pitch. Hard grounder on one hop to Miranda. He goes to Klein at second for one. On to Halton. Double play. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the shortstop, Ryan Goins, who's walked and singled. Lefty against lefty here. First pitch by Ritchie is grounded foul, rolls over towards the on-deck circle for the Manatees on the right side, and it counts 0-1. But if you want to look at the overall standings, which, as I said, are pretty much meaningless other than as a tiebreaker in case one team wins both halves, and then that determines who the wild card is. In the North Division, the Tampa Yankees, 68-49, have a 5-game lead over the Daytona Cubs. Next pitch is down and in, and Zaraga keeps it from going to the backstop, and the count's 1-1. The Manatees overall, 57-63, which is still the worst record in the North Division overall. But as we said, it's only what's happening in the second half that matters. There's a curveball that cuts over the plate, and the count's 1-2. The worst team of the league by far, the Jupiter Hammerheads, Florida Marlins affiliate in the South Division, 40-78. Fly ball to center field. Eric Komatsu into left center. Waits for it to come down and has it for the final out. Well, what do you know? 1-2-3 inning. No runs. Walk. And nobody left thanks to the double play. And as we go to the bottom of the fifth, halfway through the game, it's the Blue Jays 5 and the Manatees 4. Anyway, talking about who's hot and who's not, Jupiter Hammerheads 40-78. They're the Florida Marlins affiliate, and they have a .339 winning percentage. In the second half, they're 18-32, winning only 36% of their games. So it's going to be a forgettable year for Jupiter. Actually, at one time, the Manatees were the Florida Marlins affiliate in the Florida State League, and that was when Space Coast Stadium was the spring training complex for the Marlins. And then after the 2001 season, in a complicated transaction where the owner of the Montreal Expos took over the Marlins, the Expos had been down in Jupiter, and he wanted his team to be closer to Miami, so the Marlins moved their spring training complex from here down to Jupiter, and the Expos, who at that time were in Jupiter, came up here to Vieira. And so this was their spring training complex, and the Manatees, which had been a Marlins affiliate since 1994, then became an Expos affiliate for 3 years. All right, first pitch to Sean Halton is taken, strike one. Halton doubled and grounded to short. Next pitch by Gailey is a fly ball the opposite way down the right field line, charging over is McClanahan, but it goes into the stands, and the count's 0-2. So starting in 2002, the Manatees switched from being a Marlins affiliate to the Expos affiliate from 2002 to 2004. 0-2 pitch. Fastball up and away, and the count is now 1-2. Then after the 2004 season, the Expos moved to Washington and became the Nationals. Swung on a miss on a breaking ball, and Sean Halton is gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, now hitting the catcher, number 13, Sean Zaraga.
So that'll bring up Sean Zaraga, who's walked and struck out. So as we said, the Expos moved to Washington, D.C. for the 2005 season, and they decided they wanted to have their advanced Class A affiliate closer to home. Fastball misses away, 1-0. So the Nationals moved that affiliation to Potomac, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C. Fastball misses again, up and away, 2-0. And the Manatees, starting in 2005, became a Milwaukee Brewers affiliate. 2-0 pitch is swung on. That's a high pop foul over the press box and out of the stadium. The best years attendance-wise for the Manatees, as you might suspect, were during the Marlins years. 2-1 pitch. Checks his swing, but he did go around on a curveball, and the count's 2-2. In their first year of operation, 1994, the Manatees averaged 2,153 customers per game. 2-2 pitch is a hard grounder. It's going to go into center field for a base hit. Anthony Ghost fields it, and Sean Zaraga is on for the second time. So that'll bring up Brock Kellegard, who struck out and doubled the deep left center field, came within maybe a foot or two of his 14th home run of the year. As we were saying, the attendance here was best during the Marlins years, and the top year was in 1996, where they averaged over 2,200 per game. First pitch is fouled back towards us and bounces off the front of the radio booth to the right. In their last year here, the Marlins, as a Manatees parent club, 2001, they averaged 21.51 per game. Next pitch by Gailey, swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and the count goes 0-2. Then in 2002, when the Expos came in, the average attendance dropped from 21.51 to 14.20. That's a big hit, 700 per game. 0-2 pitch is going to be a slow roller to the left of the mound. Charging is the third baseman, Sobolewski, but he bobbles it and it gets past him. It's going to be ruled a hit, which will be the 10th for the Manatees. Sobolewski was charging to his left, and at the same time, the shortstop Goins was charging in. They almost got mixed up with each other, and I think that Goins distracted Sobolewski to the point where the ball got past him, and Zaraga advances to second on the infield single. Well, for the Kellegard family, it looks just as good as a screaming line drive in the box score, and that's all that really matters. So with one out and runners on first and second, that'll bring up Scott Krieger, who's struck out twice. First pitch by Gailey. Fastball misses away, 1-0. So he said when the Expos came in 2002, the average attendance here was only 1420, and it got better over the next couple of years. Swung on and missed on a curveball, and the count goes 1-1. from 1420 in 2002, went to 1602 in 2003, and 1822 in 2004. And then after that, the Expos left, and the Brewers came in. Fastball just misses off the outside corner, and count goes 2-1. From 2004 to 2005, the average attendance dropped from 1822 to 1591. And it continued to slowly slide until in 2008, they averaged only 1,035 per game. Swung on and missed on a changeup, and the count goes 2-2. But despite the Great Recession, the average attendance here has picked up the last 2 years. We said it hit bottom in 2008 at 1,035. Gailey's 2-2 pitch, down and in, 3-2. Last year it went up a bit from 1,035 to 1,183. So far in 2010, it's up to 1,332. Which if that holds would be right about even with what happened in 2007. So definitely trending in the right direction. 3-2 pitch is fouled down the right field line, curling towards the aluminum bleachers, and the count remains 3-2. Zaraka on second, Kelgard on first, one down here in the bottom of the fifth. Dunedin leading the Manatees 5-4. Three-two pitch. Swung on and missed on a changeup. And Scott Krieger has gone swinging for the third time. So that'll bring up shortstop Juan Sanchez, who's struck out looking and grounded out to short. Sanchez usually in the utility infielder role, but a couple of weeks ago he had a 5-for-5 game. Fastball left up high, 1-0. One thing that can affect the attendance here, of course, can be the weather. Changeup swung on and rolls back to the backstop, count 1-1. In a 140-game schedule, each team should have 70 home games. But, of course, with the combustible Florida weather and the occasional stray hurricane, you can lose some home dates. Here's a high pop fly on the infield. Third baseman Sobolewski calling for it. And he has it on the grass in the infield for the final out. So a couple of singles go for naught. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And after 5, it's Dunedin 5, the Manatees 4. By my count, there's now 8 runners left on base by the Manatees in 5 innings. In any case, we were saying that you should, in theory, get 70 home dates, and the weather can certainly affect that. 2004 was a big hurricane year for Florida, and the Manatees had only 54 home games. They lost 16, and if memory serves, much of the Florida State League just shut down early because several stadiums in the league suffered, well, I don't want to say major damage. It's not like they fell down or blew over, but I think here, for example, they had a different scoreboard than the one they have right now. I've seen photos of an older board that actually had a big baseball next to it in a sort of like a hat, somewhat similar to what the Mets have in Citi Field and Shea Stadium before that, where you see the big apple raise up out of a container like a hat. They had something similar to that here, but it was a baseball. That's obviously gone. We have a new pitcher for the Manatees, and it's going to be number 27, Ruben Flores. So Brandon Ritchie is done for the night. And he worked 2 1/3 innings. And he gave up 1 run on, looks like 1 hit, walked 2, and hit a batter. Ruben Flores, the third pitcher of the night for the Manatees. Right-handed Flores making his 26th relief appearance of the year, 1-2 with a 4.83 ERA. In 31 2/3 innings, he's given up 35 hits, struck out 31, walked 28, but he's only given up one home run. So as we go to the top of the sixth with Dunedin leading the Manatees by a score of 5-4. Once again, Daytona and Tampa rained out in Tampa. That was the final matchup of the year between Tampa and Daytona. The Yankees in first place in the Florida State League North with a 2-game lead over Daytona, so that won't change tonight. The Manatees came in 3 games back, so if they can rally to win, they will move within 2.5 of the Yankees and a half game behind Daytona. If the Manatees lose, then they're 3.5 behind Tampa and a game and a half behind Daytona. With 18 games left to play, and as we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, the remainder of the schedule, the Manatees have 3 games left against the Cubs, 1 here and 2 in Daytona, and 6 games against Tampa, 3 here and 3 in Tampa. All right, top of the 6th, it'll be the number 9 hitter, Kenny Wilson, and then back to the top of the lineup with Anthony Gose and then Ryan Schimpf. Wilson has reached twice on infield fielders' choices. First pitch to Wilson, he shows bunt but takes it down and away, 1-0. Sergio Miranda in a couple of steps at third, right on the lip of the grass. 1-0 pitch is a line drive to center field. Komatsu giving a little bit of ground, but he'll have it for the first out. So that'll bring up center fielder Anthony Gose, who was hit by a pitch, walked, and for good measure hit by another pitch. As we said, Gose was traded on July 29th by the Philadelphia Phillies to the Houston Astros, who then flipped him to Toronto for first base prospect Brett Wallace. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Before the season, Baseball America ranked Gose the number 6 prospect in the Philadelphia Phillies system. Next pitch by Flores is a hard line drive. Foul. Well, just barely missed a couple of the children up on the concourse. Gotta keep your eyes open at all times and keep an eye on your kids too. Here's what BA had to say about Anthony Gose last March. They wrote that Gose had as much arm strength as any high school left-hander this decade, reaching 97 miles an hour at times. There's a curveball taken for a strike, and the count goes 1-2. But Gose had no desire to pitch as a professional. He also had a shoulder problem as a senior, so the Phillies popped him as an outfielder and paid him a $772,000 bonus. Here's a short pop fly into the short left field. Juan Sanchez calls off Brock Kilgard for the second out. So they'll bring up second baseman Ryan Schimpf, who's 0 for 3, who's grounded to first, fly to left, and struck out. Continuing on Gose, Baseball America said that managers rated Gose in the South Atlantic League last year as the best and fastest base runner, best defensive outfielder, and the most exciting player in the South Atlantic League. All right, Ruben Flores working on Ryan Schimpf, and the first pitch, fastball misses away, 1-0. Schimpf made it onto the Toronto Blue Jays top 30 list. There's a line drive down the right field line. Is it going to hook foul? Yes, it does, and it goes into the Manatees bullpen. Baseball America ranked Ryan Schimpf the number 16 prospect in the Blue Jays system this year, and here's what they had to say about Ryan. He's 5'9" and weighs 181 pounds, and they said Schimpf's size and style of play leads to obvious comparisons to Dustin Pedroia, another diminutive second baseman who wreaks havoc on offense. Pedroia, of course, with the Boston Red Sox. Schimpf signed for $156,000 as a fifth-round pick last summer by Toronto. 1-1 pitch swung on and missed on changeup. The count goes 1-2. Says that Schimpf played left field for Louisiana State, but his best fit is at second base. He's a good athlete with a knack for hitting. 1-2 pitch. It's a fly ball on the third base side, curling over into the stands. Sergio Miranda over to take a look, but it's going to be a good 7 rows up into the stands, and the count remains 1-2. BA says that Ryan Schimpf has a short stroke and surprising power for a guy his size. He projects to hit lots of doubles, and the Jays think he could produce 15 or more homers per season. He should also steal 15 or more bases annually with his tick-above-average speed. Schimpf is reliable, if not spectacular, at second base. 1-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 called. First strikeout for Ruben Flores, who retires the side 1-2-3, which is a shot in the arm that the Manatees really needed as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Dunedin is still holding on to a 5-4 lead. Wrapping up on what BA had to say about Ryan Schimpf, they said he has a fringy arm and needs to get a better feel for second base, starting with turning double plays. And as we said, Schimpf was just promoted a few days ago from Lansing in the Midwest League. That's the same league that the Brewers Wisconsin Timber Rattlers are in. That's one level below us, where he hit just .240 in what's also a pitcher's league, 6 home runs, 45 RBI. Now, if you've never heard of Baseball America, you're wondering who they are. Baseball America is to the baseball industry what Variety is to the entertainment industry. It's sort of the industry trade, and it's published once every 2 weeks. They also have a website, of course, baseballamerica.com, which is updated every day. And it's considered to be one of the best sources of analysis of minor league ball players, although they do, of course, cover Major League Baseball as well. Some of the content on baseballamerica.com is free, and then the rest of it is for subscription purposes. And if you subscribe to the magazine, which comes out once every 2 weeks, then you also get access to all the protected content on baseballamerica.com. And they publish several reference books, one of which is the annual Prospect Handbook, which usually comes out right before spring training. And they list who, in their opinion, are the top 30 prospects in each of the 30 organizations. Bottom of the 6th, and Matt Klein leading it off for Brevard. First pitch by Gailey, swung on and missed at a curveball, 0-1. Klein has singled, grounded to short, and singled. Next pitch by Gailey. Matt shows bunt, but takes the fastball inside. The count goes 1-1. Of course, Baseball America is not infallible. None of us are, and they're giving you their opinion on who the prospects are, what their strengths and weaknesses are. Next pitch is swung on and fouled off to the right side, and the count goes 1-2. BA bases their analysis on a lot of things, statistics, of course, but you have to also look at context, and they'll talk to managers, coaches, scouts, anybody else in the business to try to get a good profile. There's a line drive up the alley in left center field. No! Diving catch. No, it's dropped by Wilson, and stopping at second is Klein. Wowee, Kenny Wilson diving to his left. He was almost into center field, showing that blazing speed. He was way into left center field, almost into center field. That's definitely Anthony Gossa's territory. Diving to his left, he had the ball in his glove, and when he hit the ground, it bounced away. And Matt Klein, running all the way, is on second base with a leadoff double, representing the tying run. That'll bring up Sergio Miranda, 2 for 3, with 2 singles, and I bet you Sergio's going to try to hit it to the right side. Shows a bunt, and he does bunt it up the first baseline, but it rolls foul. Well, Sergio has definitely impressed me over the year as someone who certainly understands how to play the game. He's not blessed with power. He's not blessed with overwhelming speed. But he's the consummate team player. He can play all 4 infield positions. He's second in the league in making contact, as we said. He strikes out only 11.43 plate appearances. Leads the league in sacrifice flies. Shows another bunt, and the pitch is taken away, 1-1. Leads the league in sacrifice flies with 12. And he has 10 bunts, which puts him up among the league leaders as well. And in this situation, what he wants to do is hit the ball the right side, advance the runner, just bunt again, and it rolls up the first baseline. Gailey fields it and goes to first for the out. So there's a sacrifice 1-3 for Sergio Miranda to advance Klein to third with 1 out. So for those of us who know baseball, a little gold star for Sergio Miranda. If I ever get to put together a minor league team, I want Sergio simply because he understands how to play the game. And that'll bring up Eric Komatsu, who's single walked and fly out to center. Matt Klein down the line from third with a tie run. First pitch is grounded foul past Wayne Hosey, coaching along the first baseline, and it rolls down into the right field corner, and off to the races goes the bat boy. You might be thinking, well, you've got a runner on second with nobody out. Why would Sergio not just try to swing away and get a hit? Oh, 0-1 pitch hits the outside corner with a fastball, 0-2. And there's some merit to that argument. Sergio batting .291, which is 6th best in the league. But he is facing one of the better relievers in the league to begin with. Also, his on-base percentage is .328. Fastball misses way outside, and the count goes 1-2. And if you look at the league's on-base percentage, as a whole, the league's on-base percentage is .325. So he's at .328, not much different from average. 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside corner, strike 3 called. I think Eric disagrees, and given that home plate umpire Joe Bourne has had a narrow strike zone all night long, that was an anomaly. So Klein's still at third with 2 down, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Angel Salome, who's doubled, grounded to third and grounded to first. So in any case, if you figure that the typical batter is only going to reach base once every 3 times, why not take advantage of moving that runner into scoring position? There's a curveball in the outside corner, strike 1. If he's on second base with nobody out and you move him to third with 1 out, he stands a much better chance of scoring. And if the odds of the batter reaching base are 2-1 against, why don't you maximize that out? And there's a base hit into left field, scoring Klein, and we are tied at 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, now hitting the first baseman, number 24, Joel Holton.
Now, taking that as an example, that slow roller that got just to the right of the shortstop Goins might not have been enough to score Klein if he was on second base. But he's on third, and he was able to score. So Salome on first with 2 down and a 5-5 tie, and that'll bring up first baseman Sean Halton, who's doubled, grounded to short, and struck out. 2 down, bomb the 6th, 5-5 tie. First pitch by Gailey. Hits the outside corner with maybe a cutter. It looked like a fastball, but it had somewhat of a wrinkle in it. It was only at 86. Could have been a 2-seam fastball, a sinker. 0-1 pitch, way inside, and it counts 1-1. Next pitch by Gailey is a grounder down to shortstop Goins, who goes over to the second baseman Schimpf for the final out. But the Manatees tie it up. 1 run, 2 hits. A critical sacrifice by Sergio Miranda to put that runner at second into scoring position at third. And 1 left. And after 6 here at Space Coast Stadium, the Dunedin Blue Jays 5 and the Brevard County Manatees 5. Once again, if you want to reach us with a email to say hello, a question, comment, or whatever's on your mind, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. That's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Or you can go to the homepage at www.spacecoastbaseball.com, and there's a link there where you can click. It says click here to email spacecoastbaseball.com. As always, this game will be archived on the spacecoastbaseball.com website sometime tomorrow morning. And all the games we've called in 2010 are archived on the website. If you go to the homepage there and up on the menu bar where it says multimedia, click on audio, and then you'll see all the webcasts that we've done of the Manatees here in 2010. And we've had quite an interesting number of games, a lot of them very exciting games. Also, while you're there on the menu bar, please consider helping out with the finances for these webcasts. Once again, the Manatees do not pay us to do this. This is a volunteer effort on our part to get some games out there for players' families and loved ones, for Manatees fans, Brewers fans around the world, and even the Dunedin Blue Jay fans who might be listening on the internet tonight, since they don't have a webcast. And the only way that we can afford to come out and do this and also do the videos, the photos, and the other content that you see on the website is by your financial support. So if you want to consider helping out, on that home page, click on the menu bar where it says home page, and underneath that there's a link that says donate to spacecoastbaseball.com. You can either make a one-time contribution by PayPal, or you can send a contribution through the mail. The address is there. Or you can sign up for a $5 a month voluntary subscription, and thank you to everyone who's helped out so far this year. Okay, top of the 7th and a 5-5 tie. It'll be the third baseman, Mark Sobolewski, followed by the designated hitter, Mike McDade, and first baseman, John Talley. Ruben Flores into his second inning of work, and his first pitch is a line drive up the alley at left center field. Is Kamasa going to catch up to it? Yes, he does, on the warning track for the first out. Well, Eric Kamatsu is showing major league range in center field there, going all the way to the warning track, not far from where Brock Kilgard hit that double off of the BJ's Warehouse sign at left center field. And again, in a more modest ballpark, that might have had a chance to leave the park. Speaking of leaving the park, that brings up the league's leading home run hitter, Mike McDade. First pitch, fastball misses away, 1-0. McDade has walked, grounded to first, and flied out to left. Leads the league with 19 home runs. 1-0 pitch. Misses down and away, and the count goes 2-0. McDade bats left-handed, and the wind has all but died down. Swings and hits a little pop fly the opposite way on the third baseline over in front of the visitors' dugout of Sergio Miranda, and he dropped the ball. Well, happens to the best of them, like we said. If you were going to pick players who would not make errors in this game, you wouldn't pick Eric Kamatsu, and yet he made a poor throw. And Sergio's not credited with an error there, but that was an easy pop foul he should have caught. Instead of now, the count is 2-1. And a pitch by Flores is swung on and missed at a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count goes 2-2. Theoretically, I believe an official scorer can call an error on a foul ball if it's dropped. I've seen it done. I don't know what circumstances under which you can do that. Next pitch misses up on a way, and the count's 3-2. Maybe over the winter, if I'm suffering from insomnia, I'll get into the official scoring book for next year. Official scoring rules. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Mile-an-hour fastball up in his eyes. And for Ruben Flores, that's his second strikeout. So with 2 down, that'll bring up first baseman John Talley. 1 for 3, single, flied out to center and line to third. Ruben Flores, since coming on to relieve in the top of the 6th, has retired 5 in a row. 2 strikeouts and 3 air balls. First pitch to Talley, fastball away, 1-0. Kenny Wilson flied out to center. Anthony Goes popped out to short. Ryan Schimpf struck out looking. And then in this inning, Sobolewski flied to center and McDade struck out. 1-0 pitch. Fastball outside corner, and the count goes 1-1. Now, some of you players' parents who might be out there listening, I've heard from some of you many times, and I suspect there may be others out there who haven't mailed in yet. So if you're out there, swung on a miss on a fastball, counts 1-2. If you're out there and you haven't emailed before to let me know you're listening, it would be nice to know you're out there. Again, home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Heard regularly from the Mirandas and from the Kelgards and the Heckathorns. Swung on and missed on a curveball. So for Ruben Flores, 2 strikeouts in this inning, 3 in 2 innings. He retires 6 in a row. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th, it's the Dunedin Blue Jays 5 and the Brevard County Manatees 5.
All right, fans, it's time for the 7th-inning stretch. Stand up and sing along together with the ball game.
I know that before he was sent down to Wisconsin, that the Miller family, Eric Miller, who started as one of the outfielders for the Manatees earlier this year, they listened as well. And also I know Michael Roberts' family is out there, and also Daniel Meadows' parents are out there. So I know there got to be more of you than just the usual suspects, and it'll be nice to hear from you. Once again, if you're curious about what's happening with the division race, the Manatees came in 3 games behind the Yankees. And Daytona is in second place, 2 behind Tampa, and 1 game ahead of Brevard. Daytona was at Tampa tonight, but they were rained out. Looks like we're going to have a new pitcher for Dunedin. Again, they had an emergency start tonight because their scheduled starter, Henderson Alvarez, was disabled on Friday, and they had 2 doubleheaders in recent days to make up for rainouts. So their rotation was depleted. And now the third pitcher of the game for Dunedin comes on, and it's going to be number 39, left-hander Evan Crawford. Evan Crawford making his 16th appearance of the year for Dunedin. He's 0-2 with a 3.09 ERA. In 23 1/3 innings, 24 hits. He struck out 21 and walked 10. Has yet to give up a home run. The league batting .267 against him. So we go to the bottom of the 7th and a 5-5 tie. It'll be Sean Zaraga followed by Brock Kelgard and Scott Krieger. First pitch by Crawford. Misses with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball down low, and the count's 1-0. Zaraga has walked, struck out looking, and singled. Next pitch by Crawford. Hard line drive. Wow, right into the Manatees dugout. It got right over the railing and it looks like everybody is okay. They all ducked, and I don't see anyone looking in as if someone was hurt. The ball ricocheted out back on the field. Dwayne Hosey, the first base coach, picked it up and tossed it into the stands. So I think it's no more than a near-death experience for everyone. And Hose just chipping away like he always does over there, probably making light of it. 1-1 pitch. This is down low, and the count goes 2-1. Of course, you go back a few decades, there was no protection from the dugouts at all. There's a slow roller down to short. Goins charging, goes across over to first for the out. Of course, the reason they're called dugout is that the original dugouts were just that. They were dug out. They were down the ground. They were dug down low, and when you came down the steps, you went down into a box that was down on the ground. It was dug out. So with one out, that'll bring up Brock Kelgard, who struck out, hit a booming double to deep left center field, and singled. First pitch by Crawford, down and in, 1-0. Now, talking about the literal meaning of dugout, and those of you who've listened to these webcasts know that I have another website, futureangels.com, that covers the Angels minor leagues. There's a fastball that misses away, and the count goes 2-0. The Angels' AA affiliate is the Arkansas Travelers in Little Rock, Arkansas, and their old stadium, Ray Winder Field, swung on a miss on a fastball, 2-1. The Travelers occupied Ray Winder Field from 1932 through, I believe it was 2006 was the last year. But that being an old classic stadium, the dugouts there literally were dug out. Swung on and missed, and the count goes 2-2. On a curveball. And when you walked down into that dugout, it was like you were going down into a concrete bomb shelter. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed on a off-speed pitch and on the inside corner. And so Brock has gone swinging for the second time.
Now hitting the right fielder, number 47, Scott Krieger.
And that'll bring up Scott Krieger, who himself has struck out 3 times. Ray Winder Field in Little Rock is currently caged up, and I think they're still trying to decide what's to be done with it. Swung on and missed on a fastball, 92 miles an hour, 0-1. And certainly there are those of us who appreciate the history of minor league baseball who love to see those facilities preserved, but the money just isn't there to do it. Fastball up high, 1-1. There are a few rare exceptions. Minor League Baseball, the umbrella corporate entity, bought the famous Durham Athletic Park in Durham, North Carolina, where the movie Bull Durham was filmed. Swung on and missed on a curveball, and the count goes 1-2. And now Minor League Baseball uses that as a museum and also a training facility and a site for amateur athletic events. 1-2 pitch. Fastball up high, 2-2. And I know the AAA Durham Bulls, who have a nice new bottom bar ballpark everywhere once in a while, they will play a game over at the old Durham Athletic Park. 2-2 pitch. Is a line drive up the alley in right center field. That's going to get down around first. Heading for second is Krieger. The throw into the shortstop is not in time. And Scott Krieger has a 2-out double. Well, after striking out 3 times, I'm sure Scott feels much better after a 2-out double. He represents the go-ahead run and a 5-5 tie, 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, and that'll bring up the shortstop Juan Sanchez, who struck out looking, grounded to short, and popped to third. First pitch by Crawford is up and away, 1-0. Crawford's velocity is anywhere from 90 to 93. Talking about classic minor league facilities, of course, down the road about 90 miles from us is what at one time was known as Dodger Town. Swung on and missed a fastball in the hands, and the count goes 1-1. The Dodgers left for a suburb of Phoenix called Glendale a couple of years ago. And Dodgertown is now used for various conventions and other amateur events. There's a breaking ball in the outside corner, and the count goes 1-2. So I can't remember the exact name of it now. I think it's like Vero Beach Village Sports Complex or something like that. The new owners tried to buy the name Dodgertown from the Dodgers, but the Dodgers refused to sell it for, or at least for a price the people in Vero could meet. But it's pretty rare to see minor league parks survive simply because most places don't have the money. A lot of times they survive and they're used for amateur events, but they don't get preserved as museums. There's a curveball that misses way away and it counts 2-2. Now here in Brevard County we have the old Cocoa Expo Stadium that began life in 1964 as Cocoa Colt Stadium. 2-2 pitch by Crawford. Sanchez swings and just gets a piece of it and goes back to the net, and the count remains 2-2. Cocoa Expo, which began life as Cocoa Colt, was originally built in 1964 as the spring training home of the Houston Astros, who in their first few years of existence were known as the the Houston Colt 45s. Swung on a miss on a curveball. Strike 3. So no runs, a hit, the double by Scott Krieger, no errors and 1 left. And after 7, it's the Blue Jays 5 and the Manatees 5. So in any case, the Astros, who were born the Colt 45s, were based at Cocoa Expo, which here in Brevard County is at the intersection of the Interstate 95 and Highway 520, which, coming out of Orlando, runs off of the 528 and then comes down to the city of Cocoa and through Merritt Island out to Cocoa Beach. In any case, the Astros used that through 1984, and then they moved their spring training complex and, of course, minor league complex out to Kissimmee, which is a suburb just south of Orlando. And at that point, Cocoa Expo was basically privately owned and used for amateur events, and it's not in really good condition. As one baseball friend of mine said, it was built old, and it's been used for a couple of quasi-professional leagues. There was a Florida Winter Baseball League that was here last October that folded after 3 weeks. They couldn't make their initial payroll. It's currently used by the semi-professional National Extreme Baseball League, which is something I've been covering on SpaceCoastBaseball.com. And the basic concept with that is that there's a second set of bases on the infield. And in addition to the white bases, there are orange bases next to the white bases. And so what happens in each inning, the first batter runs a traditional counterclockwise on the white bases, and then the next runner will go clockwise on the orange bases, and they alternate through the inning, and you'll see some videos of that on SpaceCoastBaseball.com as well. There, I think there's some still under the videos column on the home page, but you can see more of them. If you go up on the menu bar, click on multimedia and select videos, and you'll see everything there, including the NXBL. It's a pretty interesting experience. In any case, top of the 8th, 5-5 tie. Catcher Jan Gomes leading it off against Ruben Flores, and the first pitch misses away, 1-0. Well, we were talking about the general subject of older minor league facilities typically not surviving, and it's my understanding that the owners of Cocoa Expo have tried to sell it for some time as well, and at one point they were actually fairly close, and it would have been raised for another complex, probably retail commercial, but that never happened. Next pitch misses away, and the count's 2-0. Flores' next pitch, fastball inside, and the count goes 3-0. Hello to the Kelgards, emailing again, letting us know that they're out there. I wish you could have seen Brock's blast tonight. It was almost a home run. Next pitch misses away, ball 4. So on 4 pitches, Ruben Flores walks off the leadoff hitter, Jan Gomes. So that'll bring up the right fielder, Justin McClanahan, who's 0 for 3, grounded to third, fly to center, and grounded into a double play. You got to think he'd be looking to bunt here, but Sergio Miranda down at third is not looking for a bunt. He does show a bunt, and he bunts it up the third baseline where Miranda was playing deep. Cutting in front of Miranda is Flores, who doesn't have a play at first, and advancing to second is Gomes. So credit McClanahan with a sacrifice, but he reaches on a fielder's choice, and advancing to second on the sacrifice is Jan Gomes. Time called as pitching coach Fred Dabney comes out. Now, personally, I thought Sergio Miranda should have been playing in, looking for the bunt there, and that really made the difference, because since he was playing so deep and the ball rolled down to him at third, the pitcher Ruben Flores came over to field the ball, and certainly Ruben must have heard Sergio behind him charging, and that caused Ruben to flinch a little and hesitate in throwing the ball. And Sergio, as he arrived, fell down trying to avoid entangling himself with Flores, and it was too late to get McClanahan at first. So credit a sacrifice to McClanahan, but he reaches on a fielder's choice, and advancing to second is Jan Gomez. Now Dunedin has runners at first and second with nobody out, and that'll bring up Ryan Goins, and now Sergio is in at third on the grass looking for a bunt. He does show bunt, and he rolls it down the third base line. Once again, fielding it is the pitcher Flores, who goes on to first for the out. The second baseman, Matt Klein, covering at first as the first baseman Halton was charging. So Goins, credited with a sacrifice, is erased 1-4. Advancing on the sacrifice to second is McClanahan, and advancing to third is Jan Gomes, who now represents the go-ahead run with one out here in the top of the eighth and a 5-5 tie. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Kenny Wilson, who's reached twice on fielder's choices and flying out to center. Infield is drawn in, all 4 infielders. First pitch by Flores is a hard grounder. It's going to go into center field for a base hit. Gomes will score. Around third is McClanahan. Komatsu bobbles the ball. Going into second is Wilson, and he is safe. And Dunedin takes a 7-5 lead. Well, they're going to charge an error to Komatsu for bobbling the ball. So an uncharacteristic bad night for Eric Komatsu, committing 2 defensive errors. Give a single to Wilson, who then advances to second base on the error by Komatsu. Gomes scores on the single, and I would guess that McClanahan also scores on the single, but I don't know if that's going to be earned or not. That'll be up to the official score. And Wilson is on second, and that'll bring us to the top of the lineup with Anthony Gose. First pitch by Flores, down and in with an off-speed pitch, 1-0. Well, Eric Komatsu still stands an excellent chance of being named the most valuable player of the Manatees this year, and quite possibly within the league. But it's definitely been an off night for him defensively. Swung on and missed on a curveball, and the count goes 1-1. Wilson at second definitely has plus speed. So does Gose at the plate. So if Gose can hit one up an alley, it has an excellent chance of scoring Wilson and almost putting the game out of range. Flores takes a long look at Wilson. The 1-1 pitch is down low, blocked by Zaraga. It rolls away, but not far enough for Wilson to advance. And the count goes 2-1. Gose at the plate for the 5th time in this game. Hit by a pitch, walked, hit again, and popped out to short. Swung on and missed on a fastball, 88 miles an hour, and the count goes to 2-2. Hello to the Meadows family, letting us know that they're listening tonight. Two-two pitch. Swung on and missed on a changeup. That's the fourth strikeout for Ruben Flores. Wilson's still out there at second with 2 down, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Ryan Schimpf, who's 0 for 4. He struck out twice, including once against Flores. Ruben's still working from the stretch. First pitch, it's a breaking ball down low, and the count's, well, now the umpire is indicating that it was a strike, and he indicated that it was a foul tip. And the way he does that, he makes a sweeping motion with his hand pointing towards the bat, so I'm guessing that must have somehow caught just a piece of the bat. It looked to me like Schimpf maybe had started to check his swing just a little bit. He certainly didn't go around. But in any case, it's 0-1. Blue Jays have posted 2 runs here in the top of the 8th to take a 7-5 lead. Every game critical for the Manatees here going down the stretch in the last 3 weeks of the season as they try to catch Tampa and Daytona to take over first place in the Florida State League North Division. 0-1 pitch. Fastball high and away, and the count goes 1-1. Once again, if you're coming in late, Daytona and Tampa rained out tonight in Tampa Bay. That was the last time the two teams were scheduled to meet in 2010. Fastball misses away and the count's 2-1. So if they get to season's end and those two teams are tied, they'll need to make up that game to determine who it is that goes into the postseason to play Dunedin in a best-of-3 series. Two-one pitch. Blocked down low by Zaraga, and the count goes 3-1. On deck is the third baseman, Mark Sobolewski. If the Manatees lose tonight, they fall 3.5 behind Tampa and 1.5 behind Daytona. 3-1 pitch. Way away with a fastball, ball 4. And here comes Bob Missick, and that's it for Ruben Flores. And it was pretty obvious after 2 strong innings of work that Flores was running out of gas. So now we'll wait to see who it is that comes out of the Manatees bullpen out there in the right field corner, tucked behind the stands. Going to be number 41, and that'll be right-hander Mark Walensky, Willinsky. Mark Walensky making just his 8th appearance of the year for Brevard, 0-1 with a 4.91 ERA, just 11 innings of work, 13 hits. He's given up 6 runs. Struck out 6 and walked 5. So looking down the home stretch of the second half of the 2010 season, after tonight, Brevard has only 18 games left. And games that directly affect the title race, 3 games against the Daytona Cubs, 1 here in Brevard, 2 up the I-95 in Daytona, and 6 games, which will obviously be critical, against the Tampa Yankees. 3 here at Space Coast Stadium and 3 in Tampa. Looking at the remainder of the schedule, after tonight, the Manatees have a 3-game series against the Lakeland Flying Tigers tomorrow night and Thursday night in Lakeland, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Friday night, the Manatees and the Flying Tigers are back here at Space Coast Stadium at 7:05 p.m., and that will be our next webcast here on spacecoastbaseball.com. Also, for those of you who are local, it will also be broadcast on the radio by the Friday Night Locker Room, and that's, I think, WIXC. I'm rather new to the area, so let me check their website. The Friday Night Locker Room is a Friday night sports talk show, and they actually have a website, GoFNLR, FNLR standing for Friday Night Locker Room, so it's gofnlr.com. And they're going to be on WIXC 1060 AM locally on Friday night. So if you're local and you want to listen on the radio, WIXC 1060 AM in Titusville will be carrying that broadcast, and I think they also are going to webcast that on gofnlr.com. Or you can listen to me because I'm your best friend, aren't I? Okay, Mark Walensky ready with his first pitch to Mark Sobolewski, and it's a high fly ball to right center field. Racing into the alley is Komatsu, but the right fielder, Scott Krieger, is over there for the final out. But the Manatees take the lead the Blue Jays take the lead with 2 runs on 1 hit, 2 walks, an error, and 2 left. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, it's the Dunedin Blue Jays 7, the Brevard County Manatees 5. So in any case, as we said, the next webcast is Friday in the lone home game in that 3-game series against Lakeland. Then Saturday night, the Manatees go up the road to Daytona for a 7:05 game, and then they're back here Sunday for a home game at 1:05 p.m. And then Monday, they go back up the road to Daytona for a 7:05 p.m. night game. Daytona's about 75 miles away up the I-95. So after all that back-and-forth silliness, we actually get to come home for a 5-game homestand on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday against the Tampa Yankees. That Wednesday game at 7:05 p.m. will be our final regularly scheduled webcast of the year, depending on how the remainder of the season goes. We may add more, but for now, that's scheduled as the last webcast that SpaceCoastBaseball.com will do in 2010. So the 2 remaining webcasts this Friday, the 20th, and next Wednesday, the 25th, against Tampa Yankees. So after Tampa's in here for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, the Clearwater Threshers, the Phillies affiliate, will be here for Friday night and Saturday night at 7:05. And then the final game of the regular season is on Sunday, August 29, against Clearwater at 1:05 p.m. The Manatees will be off on Monday, August 30th, and then on the 31st of August, and then September 1st and 2nd, they're in Tampa to play the Yankees, 3 more critical games, and then they wind up the regular season with 3 games in Clearwater. Matt Klein leading off in the bottom of the 8th as the Manatees trail by 2. First pitch by Crawford is a fastball in the outside corner taken for a strike, 0-1. Klein batting for the 5th time in this game. He singled, grounded out, singled and doubled. This is a slow roller that's picked up by the pitcher Crawford, who throws a fastball over to first for the out. That ball was up the third baseline and charging with Sobolewski, but Crawford was there first, and he threw on to first for the out. So with 1 down, that'll bring up Sergio Miranda, who singled, grounded out to second, singled, and sacrificed. 5 outs left for the Manatees to get something done here. The first pitch by Crawford. This fastball up high, 1-0. Next pitch is a hard line drive into the stands on the first base side that ricochets off of a box seat And it looks like everybody's okay. It was on one of those hard line drives that was right in a crowd of people, but it managed to find an empty seat. 1-1 pitch. It's going to be a grounder down to short where Goins gobbles it up, goes on to first, and there's 2 down. So with 2 down, that'll bring up Eric Kamatsu, who singled, walked, fly to center, and struck out looking. And an uncharacteristic night for him, 2 errors defensively in center field. First pitch by Crawford, swung on and missed, 0-1. Well, the Manatees with only 4 runs left, they don't have a lot of thunder in the lineup. This pitch is a foul ball on the third base side. It's going to go over the aluminum overhang, and it counts 0-2. The Manatees get it done by making contact, by putting runners in motion. They have 3 batters in the top 10 in the league in batting average, but they're second to last in the league in home runs. Team has hit only 44 home runs all year long. 0-2 pitch. Fastball off the outside corner, 1-2. Now, of course, part of the reason for the low home run total is that they play in Space Coast Stadium, the most spacious ballpark in the league. But they also just don't have a lot of home run hitters. Swung on and missed on a curveball, and the Manatees go in order in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the top of the 9th, and the Dunedin Blue Jays lead the Brevard County Manatees 7-5. Well, it's been pretty much true all year long that the Manatees have been also-rans when it comes to home runs. And I can't remember exactly how long it was, but I think it was almost the end of May, if not beyond, before the Manatees had their first home run here at Space Coast Stadium. Pitching-wise, the Manatees are 8th in the league in ERA at 3.75. And they've only given up 54 home runs all year long. And that appears to be, let's see, how many other teams are lower than that 54? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess they've got the 5th best record in terms of home runs given up. The best would be Palm Beach Cardinals, have only given up 43 home runs all year long. But then if you look at the standings, the Palm Beach Cardinals overall 68-52, 1 game behind Charlotte Stone Crabs for the best overall record in the Florida State League South. So the Cardinals getting it done on pitching. Mark Walensky back on the mound in the top of the 9th as the Manatees try to hold Dunedin to a 2-run lead. Defensive change for the Manatees. Matt Klein has moved over from second base to third to replace Sergio Miranda, and now in at second base is Steve Braun. Braun wears number 7. Rarely does Braun get into a game. He's been in 37 games this year and had only 83 at-bats. So a rare appearance for Steve Braun. All right, the league's leading home run hitter, Mike McDade, leading it off for Dunedin in the top of the 9th. He's walked, grounded to first, flied out to left, and struck out. That's 19 home runs to lead the league. First pitch by Walensky is a hard grounder down to Halton at first, who gloves it on the grass, tosses it to Walensky, covering the bag at first for the out. Well, I got to say that I have been impressed all year long by how the Manatees pitchers properly cover the bag at first. And one of the things they'll do in minor league spring training is they will do a drill over and over that's called pitcher's fielding practice, or PFP for short. And part of that is that a pitcher has to get over and cover that bag at first on any ball hit to the right side of the infield. John Talley at the plate, first pitch misses down and away, 1-0. And you want to make your manager mad real fast. One of the things that you can fail to do that'll tick him off is not cover first base on a ball hit to the right side. Swung on a miss at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count's 1-1. But all year long, Bob Missick's troops, the pitchers, have done an excellent job of covering first base and getting over there when they need to. 1-1 pitch. Fastball down and away, and the count goes 2-1. Talley has singled, fly to left, line to third, and struck out. Two-one pitch. Down and in, and the count goes 3-1. Walensky's velocity, that pitch was registered at 94. And the radar all year long has struck me as being pretty accurate. Three-one pitch. Is a line drive past Walensky, and it's going to go into center field for a base hit. That ball about maybe 5-6 feet to Walensky's left, or right, of course, looking from the perspective of the press box. And no chance for Steve Braun, the new second baseman, to catch up with it. So John Talley on first with a one-out single, and that'll bring up the catcher, Jan Gomes, who's had quite the night, singled, doubled, and walked twice. Infield looking for two to get out of the inning. The first pitch by Walensky, fastball hits the outside corner, 0-1. Next pitch by Mark, curveball, just missed off the outside corner, and the count goes 1-1. Talley at first, 0 for 1 in stolen bases this year. This is a bouncer over the head of Walensky. The shortstop, Sanchez, has it, goes on to first for the out. To retire Gomes, and advancing to second on the ground ball is Talley. So with two down and Talley at second, that'll bring up right fielder Justin McClanahan. Justin has grounded to third, fly to center, grounded into a double play, and reached on a sacrifice bunt that he beat out. First pitch by Walensky. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Well, checking the weather on weather.com here as we reach the 10 o'clock hour on the East Coast, it says 85 degrees, but thanks to 80% humidity, it feels like 96 degrees at 10 p.m. Gotta love summer Florida weather. Hard line drive down to Klein at third on a couple of hops, goes across to Halton for the final out. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one left. And as we go to the bottom of the ninth, the Blue Jays lead the Manatees 7-5. I'm just checking to see if there was any rain in our forecast. At one point, it was the game time. They were estimating a 70% chance of rain in the 10 o'clock hour. That slid down to 20 and then 10%, and now it's pretty much 10%, 10 to 20% all for the rest of the night. So looks like the weather will not be a concern for the rest of this game. Of course, here in Florida, it makes it up as it goes pretty much every day. And as we saw with the Daytona-Tampa game tonight, that game was rained out. That was a critical game for determining who's going to win the second half title in the Florida State League North. Let's see, we have the same pitcher, a new pitcher for Dunedin. It's going to be a new pitcher, number 17, Matt Daly. Matt Daly, right-hander, is the closer for Dunedin. 49 relief appearances, 1-1 with a 2.29 ERA. He has 26 saves in 27 opportunities. In 51 innings, he struck out 55, walked 17, given up 38 hits and only 1 home run. League is batting just .207 against Matt Daly. Well, the Manatees have only 3 outs left to get back in this game. They trail 7-5.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the bottom of the ninth inning. Make some noise for your Brevard County Manatees. Leading off for the Manatees, the designated hitter, number 16, Angel Salome.
It'll be the cleanup hitter, Angel Salome, to lead it off. He'll follow by Sean Halton and then Sean Zaraga. Salome doubled, grounded to third, grounded to first, and singled. First pitch by Daly. Fastball outside corner, strike one, 94 miles an hour according to the radar. Salome last year made it all the way to the big leagues in September. Fastball way inside and counts 1-1. But in spring training this year, his wife was going through a difficult pregnancy, and he had to take a temporary absence. And when he came back, he told the Brewers he didn't want to be a catcher anymore. Swings at a fastball and hits it back to the backstop, and count goes 1-2. So apparently the problems with his wife's pregnancy, although she did successfully give birth, put Salome in a frame of mind where not only could he not catch anymore, swings and pokes a slow roller down the first baseline, fielded by the first baseman Talley, who flips to Daly covering the bag for the first out. So Salome, once he was activated again, went from AAA Nashville to AA Huntsville and then all the way down here to Brevard County. He said he wanted to be an outfielder, but he really doesn't have the build for it. He's listed on the roster at 5'7" and 199 pounds. Let's call it 200. And he's seen the occasional game in right field, mostly been the DH. Sean Halton at the plate. First pitch fastball is up high, 1-0. Halton doubled, grounded to short, struck out, and reached on a fielder's choice. 1-0 pitch by Daly. Fastball high, and the count goes 2-0. Daly's velocity looks to be fairly consistent around 93, 94. .20 pitch. The fastball is high, 3-0. Well, if Halton can reach, that'll bring the tying run to the plate in Sean Zaraga. .30 pitch. Fastball away, ball 4. So that'll bring up Sean Zaraga, who has 2 home runs this year. Modest lead by Halton at first, and the first pitch fastball hits the outside corner, strike 1. In the game, Zaraga's walked, struck out looking, singled and grounded to short. On deck is Brock Hildegard, the leading home run hitter for the Manatees. Here's a slow grounder past the pitcher, going down to second, flipping it over to first is Schimpf for the second out. Halton advances to second on the fielder's choice.
Now hitting the left fielder, number 33, Brock Kelgar.
So if you've got one out left, you probably want to bring to the plate your home run hitter, and that's him, and Brock Kelgard, who came into the game tied for fourth in the league in home runs at 13, which also leads the Manatees. Kelgard has struck out, doubled, singled, and struck out. 7-5 Dunedin, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Sean Halton at second. His run really doesn't mean much. The Blue Jays want to make sure that Brock Kelgard is retired, and that'll end the game. First pitch by Daly. Fastball is down and away, 1-0. Got to think Brock's looking for a fastball, and I'm sure Mr. Daly knows that. But mistakes do get made. 1-0 pitch is a line drive foul right back at us. That's a couple of times that Brock's tried to kill me tonight, so Kelgard family, have a word with him about that. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball at the letters, and the count goes 1-2. And so the Manatees are down to their last out. Halton off at second. Daly's 1-2 pitch. Oh, Brock just gets a piece of it and rolls it foul over towards the Manatees dugout on the first base side. The count remains 1-2. Brock checked his swing on an off-speed pitch and just managed to get a piece of it. And that was the difference between the game being over and the game still being alive for the Manatees. 1-2 pitch. Down and away. Oh, I made a slider, and the count goes 2-2. Nice job blocking the ball by the catcher, Jan Gomes, to keep it from going to the backstop. As we said, Halton's run out there really doesn't mean anything at second. He could actually take a more aggressive lead. Neither the second baseman or the shortstop are making any effort to hold him on. 2-2 pitch. Fastball up high, 3-2. On deck is the right fielder, Scott Krieger. And if Krieger gets to plate, he represents the winning run. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. The matter at hand is Brock Kelgard at the plate. Halton off second. 3-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 3 called, and the game is over.
That means your final score, the Dunedin Blue Jays 7, Manatees 5.
For the Dunedin Blue Jays, 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And for the Manatees, 5 runs, 13 hits, and 3 errors.
Manatees face the Lakeland Flying Tigers on Friday the 20th at 7:05 at Bartlett Park night. First one on the fans.
The loss will go to Ruben Flores, who is the pitcher in the 8th, giving up the lead runs. The win would probably, I would guess, go to Evan Crawford, and a save to Matt Daly. Well, with the loss, the Manatees, of course, will remain in third place, but they will drop to 3.5 games behind first place Tampa, and Daytona remains within 2 games of Tampa, so that means that the Manatees are a game and a half now behind the Daytona Cubs. 18 games left in the regular season for the Manatees. And once again, they are very much in control of their own destiny with 18 games left. 3 games against Daytona, 1 here, 2 in Daytona, and 6 games against Tampa, 3 here and 3 in Tampa. Well, our next webcast will be Friday for the single home game, in a 3-game home and away series with the Lakeland Flying Tigers. That webcast on Friday starts at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That'll be the second to the last webcast that we'll be doing in 2010. And then the final webcast is Wednesday, August 25th, again starting at 6:50 p.m. against the Tampa Yankees. And if the Manatees do happen to go into the postseason, or if it's really close coming down to the last day or two of the regular season, we'll see what we can do to add extra webcasts. And so you'll want to watch both ManateesBaseball.com and SpaceCoastBaseball.com for any announcements about extra games being added to the webcast schedule. So as always, thank you very much for listening, and one last reminder that SpaceCoastBaseball.com does these webcasts voluntarily. We're not hired by the Manatees. We're not compensated by anyone to do these webcasts. We're doing them just to get the webcasts out there for Manatees fans, players, parents, and loved ones, Brewers fans. Also for the visiting teams, Dunedin fans, if you're out there, anyone else with a love of minor league baseball. And we continue to afford to be able to do this through your generosity. So if you would consider supporting us, go to the homepage of SpaceCoastBaseball.com, and on the menu bar, click on homepage and then select Donate to SpaceCoastBaseball.com, where you can find out how to make a one-time voluntary donation, either by PayPal or by regular mail. Or you can sign up for a $5 a month voluntary subscription. And thank you very much to everyone who's supported us financially throughout the year. As some of you know, I'm unemployed, and it's been a little bit tough as of late. And so every penny that you send, if nothing else, it pays for the gas to get me here and back, and it also helps defer some of the costs of the equipment that I've used to do the photos and video out here this year. So thank you very much for listening. We have at least 2 webcasts left. So for SpaceCoastBaseball.com and for the Brevard County Manatees, I'm Stephen Smith, and we'll be back on Friday at 6:50 p.m. when we play the Lakeland Flying Tigers. Thank you and good night.